Parish Council meeting to order for December 27th, 2023. The current time now is 6 o'clock. The prayer will be led by Councilman Olivier and the pledge by Councilman Napier. Councilman Olivier.
Everyone please stand. The Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Amen. Lord, as we gather today at this meeting, we ask you to be in our midst. Help us to make decisions that will be pleasing to you and the people of this parish. Help us to be able to discuss the matters at hand in a reasonable way. We take time not just from tradition, but with grateful hearts, remembering all those who have served our parish. Worthy men and women who gave their best when they were called upon to serve this parish. We pray that you will bless them for their unselfish service. We respect them, we thank them, we are proud of them. Lord, we pray that you will watch over their families and bless them with peace and happiness. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Councilman Napier.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, please initiate the roll call.
Francis Pollard. Michael Landry.
Here.
Marcus Broussard.
Here.
Lloyd Brown.
Here.
Warren Gotchison.
Here.
Natalie Broussard. Paul Landry.
Here.
James Trahan. Scott Ronsonet.
Here.
Eugene Olivier.
Here.
Brian Napier.
here.
Lady Fontenette Brown. Scott Saunier.
Here.
And Chad Monterey.
We have 12 members in a quorum. I need moving on to council member announcements. Councilman Brown on announcements?
No, I'll wait.
Councilman Brown waves. Councilman Paul Landry on announcements.
Yeah, guys, on the Joint Committee Executive, item number 2, it's the Veterans Building being renamed to the Romo Building. Just to let y'all know, I got a letter here from a number of the veterans, American Legion Post 4, 335, 533, Marine Corps Veterans of Foreign Wars, and Iberian American Legion Post 365 in Lydia. They're strongly against this. That's gonna be for y'all to decide next year, January 10th. But just want to let y'all know and maybe make some phone calls and look into it. Mr. Richard has an example about it, but you know, anyway, I just kind of want to bring it out so everybody can be ready for it. That's it.
The gentleman yields back. The gentleman from District 10 is recognized. Mr. Olivier.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to recognize my wife in the audience over here, Patricia Olivier. She's attending our last meeting. I also have 2 sisters, Diane and Daffy. All right. 2 brothers, Antone and Ethan Jr., and my sister-in-law, Tarana Olivier, as well.
How y'all doing?
Thank y'all for coming. Yeah.
Awesome.
Councilman, at the end of the meeting, we'll save time for you and your family to go to the well, and so that everybody can be recognized and we can see who's really behind the scenes and keeping things going.
That's great.
Thank you, gentlemen. The gentleman yields back. Anyone else on council member announcements, members? Seeing none, moving on to parish president announcements. Parish President Richard.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I have a PowerPoint presentation I want to do today, acknowledging the council members that won't be serving next year.
And I'm going to start off with Paul Landry, and I guess Edie is going to pull this up for me right quick, like. There you go. Sounds good. One more click.
It's been the first time.
Next slide. Next slide, guys. Starting off with Paul Landry. Paul Landry is District 7 councilman. He's been a councilman since January of 2016. And his last day is going to be January 8th of 2024. Paul, I want to thank you for the service that you have done to District 7, not only District 7, but what you've done in Iberia Parish. Paul is married to Mary Kay, who's in the audience right here, and they have 4 children together. Paul is a graduate of Catholic High in 1976. He attended UL, shall I say, the University of Southwestern Louisiana, Lafayette, and he's been self-employed for the last 30 years. Paul has served on many committees in Iberia Parish. In 2016, he was the chairman for Public Works Committee. In 2017, he was the chairman for the Finance Committee. In 2018 and 19, he was the Iberia Parish Council chairman. In 2021, he was the chairman for the Finance Committee, and also in 2022, he was the Finance Vice Chair. And I'm gonna tell you, he was on point when it comes to monitoring dollars in Iberia Parish. And we go way back to 2017 when we really first started to get our gears rolling. 2016 was a pretty tough year for us because we came in here and we had a lot of things that we had to work on. I'll just put it that way. And in 2017, Paul helped a lot when it came to the finances and communicating with the council and the council chairman at that particular time. In addition to that, Paul has served on the Iberia Parish Industrial Development Board, Foundation Board, since 2016, along with me. And he has been an unbelievable person to have on that board. He's very active and certainly stay in tune with everything that's going on. And I really appreciate that. Prior to Paul getting elected, he also served on the Iberia Parish Sewer District #1 Board and Pepperplex Board. Now, that's just things that we show on that, you know, on this little slide that Paul have done. Paul has been an unbelievable person to work with in this parish. One thing I do like about Paul is that when he tell you he stands for something, he stands for it, period. And when he believes in it, he believes in it. He's not going to beat around the bush. He's not going to tell you something and the next person he tells something totally different. He's going to tell you exactly the way it is, and that's a strong attribute to have. And I really appreciate that, Paul, and I hope you don't stop helping us out in this parish. And I know you won't, because we already had these conversations, and I really appreciate working with you. And you've done a fantastic job for your district as well as the parish, and hopefully you continue to do that. And again, I look forward to working with you. I almost don't feel like stop talking, man, to be honest with you, because you've done so much, and people don't quite get it. But when we're talking about these committees, like the Finance Committee, the Executive Committee, the Public Works Committees, these committees are so important to what we do in these parishes. It's not even funny. I mean, these guys truly work. They work hard to make things right. You know, I get the blame for everything being the parish president because most people know me. But in order for me to make things right, I need the help from a lot of people, and you were one that certainly helped. And thank you so much for that. Next is Councilman Eugene Olivier. Eugene served District 10. He's been serving for 8 years as well, January the 11th of 2016 to January the 8th of 2024. Thank you for your service, Eugene, for everything that you have done for your district. Of course, you don't just serve that district, as we're getting ready to find out. You served all of Iberia Parish, the state of Louisiana, and you have done so much when it comes to the national level to help Iberia Parish. Eugene is married to Pat. He just introduced his wife. They have 5 children and 8 grandchildren. Eugene is a graduate of New Iberia Senior High in 1975 and is a graduate of the Louisiana Technical College in 1977. He followed his education with General Motors University Service Manager Program, ASE, Certified Master Technician, and also General Motors Master Technician degree from General Motors. So Eugene, of course, he's very well read, as we all already know that. He followed everything up, and when he get on something that's, you're not gonna get him off until it's done. Eugene has been in business for the last 28 years and got a very successful business and doing a very good job at that. Eugene service on the council include being the 2nd vice president for the Louisiana Police Jury Association. And, you know, I've been doing this over 20 years, and that's something I never, ever got to. But, Eugene, I commend you for that. Not only serving on the executive board for the Louisiana Police Jury Association, but actually going up the ranks to become 2nd vice president of the organization. That's a major accomplishment. Eugene is president for the St. Nicholas Holy Name Society. He's also president for the Grand Mary Mardi Gras Community Development. He's president for the Louisiana Police Jury Association Black Caucus, vice chairman for theLouisiana Police Jury Association Highway Transportation Committee. He's the past president of the Waterworks District #4, the former chairman of South Regional Pastoral Council for the Diocese of Lafayette. He's the vice chairman for the National Association of County Transportation Steering Committee. That's a big deal. We learn a lot from that. We get a lot of information from that to help Iberia Parish. A board member for the National Association of Black County Officials. Member of Gulf States, Counties, and Parish Caucus. That's the 5 states that actually butts the Gulf of Mexico. It's a big deal for us because we get a lot of information. It helps us a lot with drainage and other things and funds that come from the federal government. He's a member of the Police Jury Association Region 3, volunteer for St. Nicholas Church Food Pantry, and also a volunteer for St. Francis Diner. He's been very, very active in his community, as you can see. Eugene also served as the chairman for the Public Health and Safety Committee in 2016 and 17. He served as the chairman for the Finance Committee in 2018. He was the chairman for the Executive Committee in 2019. He is the chairman of the Iberia Parish Council in 2020, and he is currently the chairman for our Finance Committee. Additionally to that, Eugene also served on the Home Rule Charter Ad Hoc Committee that we actually had in 2017, and that's a very, very big deal, as you guys know. One other thing that I didn't put up here about you, Eugene, is that you're the vice chairman for the Louisiana Infrastructure Technical Assistance Corporation. And I want to read a little bit that you might not even know that we received, but we received it last week. On December the 18th, we received notification that we have been selected to receive technical assistance under the Louisiana Infrastructure Technical Assistance Corporation Technical Assistance Program. This program will provide us with technical assistance, including engineering, project designs, and grant writing to apply for funding to address the infrastructure issues on North and South Lewis Street and College Road. This assistance does not require any matching dollars from us, Iberia Parish. Councilman Olivier was the driving force behind this. To be honest with you guys, I didn't submit anything. He did it all. Councilman Olivier was the driving force behind this application, and without his guidance and leadership, we would not have this tremendous opportunity. This is a big deal for us. I don't know if you guys understand what I'm talking about, but I'm talking about Lewis Street. What they're going to be checking to do is looking to make it a 4-lane road, all the way from Highway 90, well, roughly from where that service station is to Amadora. So it's a big deal. Also, I applied for capital outlay money for that same project. But Eugene got all of this going through the to Latticore, and I thank you for that. I can go on and talk about Eugene a lot, just like when it comes to Paul. I mean, these guys here are active, very active council members, very, very, very active council members. And they're constantly calling me with things that we need to do. And I think I had a conversation maybe with you, Marcus, saying that the council that we're going to have this coming year, I would like to see if council members could pick projects that they would actually start and get it to a point and turn it over to the administration instead of saying, why don't you do this? Or why don't you do that? You know, I think council members should be able to jump on a project and get that project started. And once they figure out, you know, what's what, and then we can actually try to make it work. So again, I thank you for your service, Eugene. You've done a fantastic job. Moving on to Scott Saunier. Scott Saunier has been a councilman for District 13, which is a district I used to serve since June of 2022 until January the 8th of 24. Thank you for your service, Scott. That's an unbelievable district to serve. We already know that. Councilman Saunier is married to Simi, and together they have 2 children. They have Madison and Scarlett. And Scott graduated from Delcom High in 1981. He is an emergency medical technician, paramedic, and is employed at the Acadiana Companies, Acadian Ambulance Companies per se, operations manager. Councilman Saunier, public service include Iberia Parish Chamber of Commerce, being a member of the Executive Board of Directors for the Chamber of Commerce, the Delcom Board of Aldermen, Iberia Parish Levy Board, Harry King and Conservation District for the town of Delcom, Delcom Volunteer Fire Department, and volunteers for the Delcom Steering Committee. Scott's been very, very active. Scott also served as my Chief Administrative Officer from 2016 to October of 2021. As the CAO, Scott served as my, to me, at the day-to-day administrator and manager for all of the governmental functions, overseeing the directors, the managers of Iberia Parish Department, and advising me on all matters that was related to Iberia Parish government. Now, in saying that, Scott and I go back a long time. See that little picture right there with me and Scott? At that particular time, I was working for Marathon Oil. I've been retired from them over 20 years. That's when he thought he was dressing in GQ. But anyway, you do look pretty good right there.
I still have that too, but can't.
But I want to tell you, as my chief administrative officer, Scott done a fantastic job. We both came in here. It was a lot going on when y'all remember, when we came here, we had some financial issues. We had a lot of cuts that we had to make. We had to balance some budgets. That was we had a lot of tough decisions to make. And with the council and with Scott working with me and my guidance and buying into what I thought we needed to do as a parish, and some of the decisions that we made didn't make everyone in this parish happy. But this is a business that we run, and I want to tell you I appreciate everything that you did. Earlier we were talking about some of the places you went, and you know, you might get shot over there, but there's a lot of things that goes on in government that people really just don't know. And so we go visit people sometimes, they're not that happy. And you don't know what's going to take place with that. The one thing you're looking at with the governor right there, and Scott and myself, that particular day the governor came to my office, and we talked about getting this money for the roundabout at 675, and that was money that this capital outlay request had started way back when Ernest Freed was here. So that was roughly 8 years before we got here. And when the governor left that day, we felt pretty confident that we was going to get this money. We had to, of course, work with the state legislature, and Terry Landry was our state legislature, and we got all of that taken care of. And we had Taylor Barra working. We had a whole team of people working, and we got all of that money. And as you can tell right now, that particular project is done. We have 2 new roads that was actually built. I don't think we had a new road built in Iberia Parish in 2 or 3 decades. But that come from that particular meeting right there. We've done a lot. The picture you see to the right, all the way to my right anyway, Scott with that blue jacket on, we were looking like we was over this kingdom, but we was actually at this lady house here in Iberia Parish that was putting on a function that invited us because she felt that we were doing a good job in Iberia Parish, and she wanted to make sure that we got some recognition. I can't say enough about you. You did a fantastic job. You did a good job, and everything that we do in Iberia Parish is all about team. And you know, we still have a very, very good team. And I'm gonna close off by saying, on behalf of the entire parish, I extend my heartfelt appreciation for your service, and I wish you continued success in all of your future endeavors. The impact of your work will resonate for years to come, and our community is stronger because of your dedicated service. Thank you, all of you, once again for your excellent service that you provided to Iberia Parish. Larry Richard, Iberia Parish President. Exemplary service. All right, guys. Thank you.
Does that conclude?
That's conclude mine.
Members, at this time, if you want to share some
Mr. Chairman,
stories.
I better tell you all this here. I got one more thing I want to pass on for Parish President's announcement. Ward 8 Recreation Center, the roof replacement has been awarded to a company called Grizzly Roofing Construction. It should begin within the next month. That's at Ward 8. Of course, the Iberia Parish litter abatement we did on Saturday the 16th. We picked up a total of 50 bags of trash, a number of tires, and the trash was picked up in the area of Highway 88, 675, Avery Island Road, and as well as Landry Drive. Bids were the bid opening for the new wastewater well underground storage tank for Waterworks number 3 is going to be held on February the 1st at 10 o'clock in this chamber, and a pre-construction meeting is going to be held with the contract on Tuesday morning for the Mullins Road project. So we're getting ready to start off with that. So we're moving on. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's it.
Are there any questions for the Parish President report before we go back? Seeing none. All right, members, at this time, just to conclude from his presentation for the council members leaving, does anyone want to include any comments or questions? Well, the members will get up at the well at the end. You can say it now, or did you want to wait till?
No, it's up to you.
Okay. Well, they said anything, we'll move on. Moving on to public comments, I need a motion to go into public comments. Have a motion by Councilman Brown, second by Councilman Michael Landry. Vote your machines, members. Yeah, that's yours. That motion carries. We're now into public comments. Number one, Madam Clerk.
Comments from the general public on agenda items.
We did not receive any. Number two, Madam Clerk.
Persons being considered for appointment to parish boards, commissions to address the council.
We do have a request for a application for Iberia Parish Planning Committee on item 262 by Nathaniel Mitchell Sr. Mr. Mitchell, if you can just state your name and address for the record at the well, please.
Nathaniel Mitchell, 422
So we can hear you.
Get to
Sorry about that.
That's all right. Good afternoon. Nathaniel Mitchell, 422 Hacker Street, New Iberia, 70560.
you fine.
You,
I'm approaching you, asking to be reapplied to, appointed to the Planning and Zoning Board. We do a lot of business with you guys. We sometimes send recommendation. We sometimes just shove it down y'all throat, let you make the decisions.
we appreciate that.
But I am asking for reappointment.
Members, at this time, are there any questions for Mr. Mitchell? Here and seeing none. Mr. Mitchell, thank you for your dedicated service to our parish. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Moving on, we have Mr. Clint Freyu to address item 254 for application for board and commission on the Acadiana Fairgrounds. Mr. Freyu, if you could just state your name and address for the record.
Yes, sir. My name is Clint Freyu. My address is 6404 East Highway 90, New Iberia. And I'm asking for appointment to the Sugarina Director.
Members, at this time, are there any questions for Mr. Freyu? Seeing none on the board, thank you for being here, sir, and thank you for wanting to serve your community.
Thank you.
Moving on, we have Ms. Jackie Reedham to address item 264 for appointment to the Iberia Parish Tourism Commission. Ms. Reedham, if you could just state your name and address, please.
My name is Jackie Reedham, and my address is 1618 Nicoletown Road.
If you want to just a brief synopsis or a biography,
Okay.
Tell us about yourself.
I am a graduate of Mount Carmel Academy, also of ULL, and I'm a 5-day retired teacher from the Iberia Parish School System, and I have a background in journalism, and I love to serve.
Members, at this time, are there any questions for Ms. Reedham? Hearing and seeing none, thank you for wanting to serve the community. We appreciate you. I don't see any more requests for boards and commissions, but I did see Ms. Jennifer Duet somewhere's in here. You want to come up and?
I need to say my address.
Please, your name and address,
My name
please.
is Jennifer Ford Duet, 10,005 Jefferson Island Road, New Iberia, Louisiana. I'd like to continue serving on the Child and Youth Planning Board, and that's it.
Short and sweet, I like it.
Thank you.
Are there any questions for Ms. Duet at this time? Hearing and Mr. Brown, is that a question for her?
No.
Okay, hearing and seeing none, thank you for serving the community. We
Thank you.
appreciate that. We do have another, if you can just state your name and address for the board and commission you're applying for.
My name's Merlin Baudin. I'm here on behalf of my wife. She's at a cancer survivors meeting,
Okay.
and that's more important. I can speak.
Absolutely.
And she's going in pre-appointment to the Veterans Memorial Building. She's been on the board. She helps out a lot. I'm going to read one paragraph. Being a veteran, the wife of a veteran, the daughter of a veteran, her dad was World War II, the mother of a veteran, the grandmother of a veteran, and now, excuse me, the great-grandmother of a U.S. soldier. So she likes veterans.
Thank you, Mr. Merlin. Are there any questions, members? Seeing none, hearing none. Thank you for your service. Please thank the wife also. Hearing and seeing no other public comments, I need a motion to go back into regular session. I have that by Councilman Brown, second by Councilman Broussard. Vote your machines, members. Go back into regular session. Are you through voting, members? That motion passes. We are now back into regular session. Moving on to community events and public service announcements. There is none. Reports from finance and administrative actions. Number 1.
Balance sheets for November 2023 on request.
Number 2.
Budget reports for November 2023 on request.
Moving on to reports from parish or other governmental agencies. There is none. Public works reports. Number 1.
Public Works Department report closed work orders dated November 15th through December 5th, 2023, and December 6th through December 12th, 2023.
You should have received that by email, members. Moving on to special business. There is none. Consent agenda items for public hearing and adoption. We have the minutes of the Finance Committee meeting of December 6th, 2023, the regular minutes of December 13th, 2023. Summary number 243, introduced by the clerk.
A resolution of condolences to the family of Mr. Clement Landry, former member of the Robert B. Green Veterans Memorial Building Advisory Board, who passed away on December 5th, 2023.
Summary number 244, introduced by James P. Trahall, District 8.
A resolution of condolences to the family of Mr. Harvey Blanchard, Sr., father-in-law of Iberia Parish Register of Voters Christy Blanchard, who passed away on December 8, 2023.
Summary number 245, introduced by the clerk.
A resolution accepting the resignation of Mr. James Landry as a member of the Iberia Parish Hurricane Levy and Conservation District, representing the community, effective immediately.
Summary number 246, introduced by the clerk.
A resolution accepting the resignation of Mr. Brock Pellerin as a member of the Iberia Parish Planning and Zoning Commission, representing the community, effective immediately.
Summary number 247, introduced by the clerk.
A resolution accepting the resignation of Mr. Cayman Capel as a member of Iberia Economic Development Board, representing districts 13 through 14, effective immediately.
Summary number 248, introduced by the clerk.
A resolution accepting the resignation of Councilman Paul G. Landry as a member of the Iberia Industrial Development Foundation, representing the community, effective December 14, 2023.
Summary number 249, introduced by the parish president.
A resolution requesting financial assistance from the state of Louisiana under the fiscal year 2023 through 2024 Local Government Assistance LGAP Program and Community Water Enrichment Fund CWEF Program.
At this time, members, do I have a motion to open consent agenda items? I do by Councilman Michael Landry, second by Councilman Olivier. Councilman Landry.
Waive.
Councilman Olivier.
Waive.
Councilman Napier.
I'd like to pull summary number 245.
For what purpose does the gentleman seek recognition to remove an
Made
item?
of the summary.
Without objection. Is there any other request to remove an item? Hearing and seeing none, please vote your machines on all items except for 245 has been omitted. Vote your machines, members. Councilman Napier, you through voting, members? Final adoption. That motion carries unanimously. Now I'm going to summary number 245, introduced by the clerk. Do I have a motion? I have a motion by Councilman Councilman Napier, second by Councilman Olivier. Councilman Napier on discussion?
I refer to Mr. Paul Landry.
On this 245, I'm abstaining.
Mike.
Councilman Olivier?
I waive.
Waive. Just for the record, Councilman Landry will be abstaining on the vote. Hearing no other discussion on the main motion, members, vote your machines on final adoption, 245. Councilman Napier? That motion carries with Councilman Landry abstaining. Moving on to ordinances introduced for public hearing and adoption, there is none. Resolutions introduced for public hearing and adoption, we have summary number 241, introduced by the parish president.
A resolution ordering and calling a special election to be held in the parish of Iberia, state of Louisiana, to authorize the renewal of special taxes therein, making application to the State Bond Commission, and providing for other matters in connection with therewith. Note, this is to call a special election in Sales Tax District Number 1 to be held on April 27, 2024, to continue to levy a special tax of 2.11 mills for the purpose of acquiring, constructing, improving, maintaining, or operating the public health unity of the parish and other related public health activities. Public health unit, 4.76 mills for the purpose of acquiring, constructing, improving, maintaining, or operating public building in the parish. Public buildings, 4 mills for the purpose of constructing, improving, maintaining, or operating drainage facilities in the parish. Drainage, and 4.5 mills for the purpose of acquiring, constructing, improving, maintaining, or operating public libraries in the parish, public libraries.
Do I have a motion to open the main motion on 241? I have that by Councilman Napier, second by Councilman Olivier. Councilman Napier on discussion.
So, Mr. Chairman, this, as far as I can remember, this is the first time this council is going out for millage renewals.
No, sir.
Am I not?
No. For these,
For
there is.
these.
This is a
Yeah.
10-year millage. That is
Yeah.
correct.
So it's very important that we all get on board and push this, because without these renewals, where would these 4 entities be in parish government? So I know we all support that, and hopefully the public and the parish residents will support it with us. So with that said, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, sir. The gentleman from District 11 yields back. Gentleman from District 10 is recognized.
Yeah, I'd like to echo some of the things Brian said. These millages are very important to the parish. We need to definitely stand behind these millages and make sure that they get voted on and come April the 27th. So this is something that, you know, we definitely need. This is something that helps the parish grow. You can see how we got so many things going on in the parish right now. The millage is going to continue helping the progress that we have currently going right now. So everybody, definitely the general public, should get on board and make sure these millages are renewed. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The gentleman from District 10 yields back. The gentleman from District 3 is recognized.
Hey, thanks, Mr. Chairman. I'm good with, you know, we talked about the millages and the numbers and the renewal 4.5, 4s and whatnot. The one thing I'd like for us to consider, and I'll offer an amendment, is to remove acquiring and constructing off the library. I think for the past 20, 30 years, the library has built libraries and has done a good job of that. I think it's in another phase of its life cycle. I think we need to.
Let's be very. I'm not saying I don't agree with you, but us changing the language may change it from it being a renewal.
I did follow up with Mr. Jason about it. It's further limiting, and it's not.
Okay.
His opinion, my words that I chose was removing, acquiring, and constructing off, and that further limits it and doesn't change it. It keeps it as a.
Okay, so you.
Yep, and all we're doing is focusing their time, money, whatever, on improving, maintaining, and operating the library. So we're not.
So what in the event if a storm took place or one of the structures were severely damaged? Does that
improving, maintaining, and operating? I mean, he's not here to talk for it, nor is our legal guy. But
I'm not saying I disagree with you. I just don't want to box ourselves in for 10 years. And I agree with no additional libraries at this point.
My intent in this is not to be able to build new libraries. Right? We're good. Let's focus the money and everybody's attention. And we're going to be sitting in front of these folks in a few months talking about pushing a sales tax, 3/4 cent sales tax. I think and this as well, renewing this as well. And when we sit there and the people are going to be upset about, we got enough libraries. This is our way of saying we're changing that right now. That's my intent.
Are you okay holding the floor until we can get main motion out and then I'll come back and take the amendment?
Yeah, I'm fine, but
good. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, I just want to mention that you spoke to Ian about this?
No, sir.
Okay. Listen, pass it the way if you spoke to Jason Akers?
Yes, I communicated with Jason. I asked him if I remove the word acquiring and constructing, how would that affect? It will not. It'll still be a renewal because we're limiting it and not
adding anything additional to it.
And that's just limited to libraries.
No,
yes, that's my only change or addendum would be to after 4.5 mills acquired.
And the only thing I ask is that when Ian take a look at this, I got to make sure Ian take a look at this and concur with what you're saying.
I wouldn't want it to not be able to repair the roof or whatever. Again, the purpose would be strictly.
I understand exactly what you're saying, and it makes total sense.
Okay.
I just don't want to do something that messes up.
Okay, the gentleman from District 3 yields back. The gentleman from District 13 is recognized.
Yeah, I think the council has the ability to stop.
To reduce it.
Acquiring and constructing or anything, since we basically control their budget. I think that the risk versus reward right here is a little offset. I think we're stepping into something that could be negative for a long time to come.
I don't think we should change this language at all. Let it go without endangering our ability to collect the millage. And if you so choose as a council not to allow them to acquire or construct something in the future, then vote on it in this room. I would leave it just like it is. And then again, you guys control the budget. So do that in that particular fashion.
Okay. The gentleman from District 13 yields back. The gentleman from District 4 is recognized.
Yes, I agree with Scott. We control the millage. And we can set it. And if we need it, it's there. But we don't have to spend it. But we'll have control of it. If something happens, we can always just raise the millage up. Because we have the power to raise and lower.
Gentleman from District 4 yields back. The gentleman from District 2 is recognized.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Scott. But if we do decide to take this language out, I kind of concur with Larry. We need to let Ian look at it before it's taken out to make sure it's legal on our point.
I think once final adoption happens tonight, we kind of limit it, especially on the time frame of getting it to a tax call.
Well, I can't agree with it. If we can't get the legal to look at it and Jason not here to...
Well, I'm not saying we can't get legal to look at it, but if legal disagrees with us, it's beyond the point of coming back for a reconciliation on the vote.
All we gotta do is...
We gotta definitely, tonight, I think we at our urgency as it is now to get it within that time. Yeah. Councilman Landry, will you finish?
I yield back.
The gentleman yields back. The gentleman from District 10 is recognized.
Yeah, I have to concur with Scott and Lloyd and Michael over there. You know, the council controls how this money gets spent. You know, even the 4.5 millage rate, you know, we control how much millage we're going to collect each year. Even though the voters going to be voting on the 4.5, we can control what they collect, you know, as taxes from this council here. So that choice is always our choices on what they do with that money based on the budget. So I would say let's pass this thing just like it is, and let's move forward and make sure that, you know, we get this thing going. Because we have a deadline with this. We have to get it done. So, thank you.
The gentleman from District 10 yields back. The gentleman from District 7 is recognized.
I would hope that we do, you know, a substitute on there, taking it out. I think it's kind of throwing a bone to the people because the library will fail on April 27th, and we'll be back to coming out with another. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Mr. Chairman.
Talking to Mr.
I'm
Napier.
sorry. I thought you called.
I can put it in the record if you'd like.
You're saying how lovely you look tonight.
Yeah, thank you very much. But
like to predict
I think it's throwing a bone to the people out there that, hey, we are trying, leave it alone, but when it fails, we can come back and word it whatever way we want.
Question.
The gentleman from District 7 yields back. Gentleman for District 11 is recognized.
So, Paul, you kind of touched on what I think don't let me speak for you, Marcus. I think the only thing Marcus was doing here is trying to help it pass. I don't think he's trying to change it for any reason other than, and look, how many people out there actually read it word for word? You know, whether it's, I don't know, but you do, Scott?
Well,
yes. Really, you do? Everything you, I doubt that.
Okay.
But
all
anyway,
right, gentlemen, let's stay in regular order, members.
Marcus, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's you trying to make sure that the library passes and that the people that do read it see that, hey, well, we not building, constructing, acquiring any new libraries. We just maintaining what we got. But I'll go with whatever. I mean, it doesn't matter to me, but I was just trying to help everybody understand where you were coming from.
Members, before we take the amendment, the motion is to debate the main motion at this point. Right. There has not been an amendment on the floor yet. When we get to that point, then we'll debate the motion to amend the language at that point. The gentleman from District 11 yields back. The gentleman from District 10 again is recognized.
Yeah, let's remember that the original millage for the library was 6.0
That is
mills.
correct.
We have reduced it to 4.5 mills. I think we're showing the general public we're being conservative here and not asking them to pay more than necessary to operate the library. And the 4.5 is actually the expenses of the library that needs to be covered. and still we can use fund balance for projects and programs and so forth, things like that. Thank you, Chairman.
The gentleman yields back. The gentleman from District 13 is recognized.
Yeah, I'll say this one more, well, this final thing on this. I think this discussion should have been had previously, prior to the point that we're about to vote on it, so that at least members of the library board could have been here to defend their position, and also we would have had legal counsel involved. I stand by the fact that this council controls that budget. And changing the language is, I don't think that's gonna help you one way or the other. If anything, it's gonna harm you 20 or 30 years down the road. I just don't see the point in changing that outside of maybe just making a point. I don't think that's the right thing for us to do as a public body.
Gentleman from District 13 yields back. Did the parish president want to include?
If I can, is it possible that, first of all, I think we need to emphasize to the people of Iberia Parish that that $6 million that we had, that we're reducing that to 4.5. Make them aware of what it is that we're trying to do. Instead of having that $6 million, they're collecting $6 million or possibility to collect $6 million. We only bringing it there for 4.5. Is it possible that the parish council could maybe pass a resolution, maybe at the next meeting, saying that passing a resolution where the library cannot acquire or construct?
No.
It wouldn't be a change on this particular deal here. I mean, I just think that if we
I think it,
I don't want something to happen and Ian come back and then I'm vetoing this here, then we got a problem.
Again, at this point, there's been no amendment on the floor that we've taken up yet. It's still the main motion of the current language as written.
all right.
Councilman Brown?
No, I was just going to say that actually, where you get the public confused is when you start messing with it. You're thinking that it's going to help, but it's going to hurt it. This is just a renewal that the council has the power to go up or down with the millage. We can do that. That's all.
Gentleman from District 4 yields back. At this time, the board has cleared. Members, any amendments on the language?
No.
I do have an amendment request by Councilman Broussard.
Yeah, I'd like to consider amending the language, removing acquiring and constructing. Let's see how it goes.
Have a motion on the floor by Broussard to amend, second by Councilman Landry on discussion. Councilman Landry?
Yeah, no, I support it.
Support it. All right, members, there is the motion on the floor by Councilman Broussard. Is there any discussions on the amendment? A vote in the affirmative would amend and remove the language as stated by the gentleman. A vote no would allow the amendment, allow the main motion to stay as is written.
All right.
Everybody understand?
Yes.
Members, vote your machines on the amendment by Broussard. Councilman Napier? That motion fails. Back to the main motion, members. Any discussion on the main motion?
No.
Hearing and seeing none, vote your machines on final adoption 241, members. Councilman Brown, Councilman Olivier. That motion carries unanimously. Moving on to summary number 242, introduced by the parish president.
A resolution ordering and calling a special election to be held in Sales Tax District Number 1 of the Parish of Iberia, State of Louisiana, to authorize the levy of a sales and use tax therein, making application to the State Bond Commission and providing for other matters in connection therewith. Note, this is to call a special election to be held on April 27, 2024, to levy and collect a sales and use tax of 3/4% to be dedicated and used for the purpose of constructing, improving, and maintaining roads and streets within the district.
Do you have a motion to open 242? I have that by Councilman Broussard, second by Councilman Olivier. Councilman Broussard on discussion.
Yeah, I got beat up this weekend at a Christmas dinner with family because the roads are bad, right? Well, we've all had those conversations. And I told them this was their chance to make it right. This is the chance, right? And that I know we're going to be coming together the next few months and visiting with everybody, explaining what we're doing here and what we're trying to do and why we need to get it passed. So that's it. Just want to state that Christmas dinner was great, except for those 25 minutes by 7 people, most of which are in Mr. Eugene's district, that our roads are bad. So I get it. This is our chance.
The gentleman from District 3 yields back. Gentleman from District 10 is recognized.
I can't agree with Mr. Broussard anymore. Since I got elected, there was the one key issue that I couldn't solve, was roads in rural Iberia Parish. This is the fix. It's the only fix. We have to get it done. We have to pass this sales tax, which really won't affect any shopping at Walmart or Lowe's, anywhere else. No, it's going to only the rural, unincorporated area parts of the parish. And most of these taxes are going to be paid by the businesses at the port or businesses at the airport. Right. You know, if you look at it, people traveling through, you know, going to Sycamore Point, stopping at Lydia, buying groceries or at the store. So the burden on the individual citizens of the parish is going to be at a minimum, I feel. And I think this tax is well deserved being passed for those reasons. Thank you.
Gentleman from District 10 yields back. Gentleman from District 2 is recognized.
Yeah, I think we didn't beat this horse a lot. I got
horse no more.
He's a mule. Marcus good, because I got emails from everybody from Christmas Eve to the day after Christmas about the roads in our parish. So it's time to start. We got to do something. We need to push this one hard. I yield.
Gentleman from District 2 yields back. The gentleman from District 13 is recognized.
Yeah, I'll comment on Mike. I wouldn't ride a horse on our roads. I'd be afraid to break a leg. And as Marcus, I got beat up, but driving here tonight in my truck. So I've said this before. There are 2 taxes, new taxes, that I would support. This is one. We're not going to attract new business here or anybody else unless we fix, this is probably one of the biggest issues we have. And the second one would be a levy tax. But for once, Marcus, I'll go ahead and support you, man. I think this is a great thing.
The gentleman from District 13 yields back. The gentleman from District 9 is recognized.
Yeah, without a doubt. We all got beat up somewhere along the way in the last year. Mine was the UL graduation and then the Christmas. So it's the same thing. You know, we all know we got the same problem. We all gonna have to get on board. We all gonna have to beat that drum. You know, I'm definitely on board on this one because I got a couple roads, the same issues. We all know it. Yeah. We all see it. The whole parish rides on it. We just got to make sure we communicate. It's solid. It's for this and this only.
That's all right.
Thank you, Mr.
Gentleman from District 9 yields back. I just want to make a couple of comments. The last 2 road taxes we did, Paul, you remember we've argued behind closed doors about it. I voted against them. At the time, I thought the parish had some learning to do. We had some more discipline that we need to implement at the time and made reductions and cuts. I do think at this point in time, I've had hard surface roads who have turned to gravel at this point in time. There's no other opportunity out there for us to improve any roads we have. I think at this point, this is the only solution. And do I like taxes? Absolutely not. But I do want to ask you, Mr. Richard, you know, I'm getting the questions already. Is this strictly, and I mean strictly, for roads, correct?
Strictly for roads and road repair.
Not for libraries, not for drainage, not to waste or put in your pocket, just for roads,
it's
right?
It's going to read exactly like it up here. Used for the purpose of constructing, improving, and maintaining roads and streets.
And my second question, most important question, people do want to hear from us, but they really want to hear from the leader of the parish. Are you behind this tax 100% and going to go out there and sell it?
And I'm going to tell you why. 100% or 120%, whatever you want to call it. The concern that we're having right now, Iberia Parish has seen some very good times, and we all know it. We're looking better today than we did years ago. But we still have infrastructure problems in Iberia Parish, and we still need to get these roads taken care of. Roads deal with not only roads, but it deal with the shoulders of the roads and the drainage that's actually going on the side of the road, which this is just a tax for roads and the repair of roads. But it's critical that we give the people in Iberia Parish
the quality of life that they're looking for. And the only way they're going to get that is if we can improve these roads in Iberia Parish. We got new subdivisions that we bring in here. People have homes that's worth $200,000 and $300,000, $400,000. Probably if they sell them, they might get a little reduction because it's hard to get to them without busting up your car. So with that said, I'm 100% behind it, Mr. Chairman.
That's what I wanted to ask because I get the questions in the public. Y'all going to blow it on something else or is going to go somewhere else?
Dedicated.
This is dedicated. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You've answered my questions. We do have another. Did you? Good. Go ahead and press your button again just for the record so we can hear you. The gentleman from District 3 is recognized.
As y'all were wrapping up, you said the word dedicated. I wanted to make sure I pointed that out. It says dedicated.
Dedicated fund.
Doesn't say maybe, doesn't say general
Totally
fund.
dedicated.
It says dedicated. So, I was going to
And
make
this is
that
a
point.
10-year road tax.
Right, and if I can, I think people need to think about what, what we talk about when we talk about funds like the mosquito control funds and Parks and Recreation. Those funds are dedicated to the library. If they have $1 million or $200, we can't touch that money and spend it anywhere else. These are dedicated funds. That's the same type of tax that we're talking about for these roads. We probably have around $40 million, Scott, what we did when we did it in 17, it was $34 million, and that's before everything went up.
Well, I was about to comment on that. I think people need to understand the.
Go ahead.
People need to understand.
You finished?
How big this problem is,
Yes.
and you're right. It was 34
million.
Just to catch up.
That's right.
Back then. So the longer we push this off, the bigger that ticket gets, and you get to a point where it's just never going to happen. We'll be driving on gravel before long, which we are in many areas.
And if I can add to that, Mr. Chairman, as we repair or overlay these roads, it's critical that we do maintenance on these roads. Iberia Parish is a rural parish. We have a lot of farming in Iberia Parish. We have vehicles that's always gone off of the road to the shoulders. We have to maintain those shoulders. If we don't have funds to maintain the roads and the shoulders after we repair them, we're going to have the same problem. So we have to get the shoulders in Iberia Parish where we can maintain them.
And I think I got one more question for you before we go to final adoption. It's always the saying they're building roundabouts and new roads. Those roundabouts and new roads are coming from what fund?
Federal and state dollars.
Not from any parish dollars whatsoever,
I'm
correct?
glad you brought that up. I hear it all the time. What people have to understand, I can give you many examples. Later tonight, you're going to vote on something for water, or for sewer, I'm so sorry. But those dollars are state dollars and federal dollars that's matched.
Correct.
When you take a look at what's going on with the building that's being built for the evacuation center, those are capital outlay state dollars and federal dollars that we're matching. So we've been matching state and federal dollars. We do not have, those are not tax dollars that's actually being collected here in Iberia Parish. We have two funds in Iberia Parish for the most part that we can actually use. That's your general fund and the royalty fund. And the royalty fund has come down from some $7 million, so roughly $400,000. So we have been creative in what we're doing to build what we're building, but no.
And my last question would be for Councilman Landry before he leaves us. Would you agree that the tax would be cheaper to pay than the car maintenance that it causes each year, Mr. Landry?
You know, I was on Facebook the other day.
I know. I seen you on there. That's why I'm asking, Mr. Landry.
And T-Boy Boudreaux was arguing about
Kenny.
a lot of your points, you know.
Keyboard
But,
Kenny.
yeah, you know, I say it all the time that the roads you see today are best you're going to see in a long time. And just what Scott said, the longer they wait, the longer. And, you know, as I've been sitting here and looking at other parishes, how they do things, the only thing I can tell you, if it fails, even 49 to 51, you need to come back immediately behind it. So many of the people out there, the voters, wait till they walk in the booth and they see it, they're reading it, they're confused, they vote no. You know, I was talking with Freddie one day and a guy walked up and he said that. He said, well, you know, I got tired of reading, so I just voted no. I meant to put a thing, you know, on this meeting here that we put $20,000 to put at all the voting booths to explain to people how to vote. That if you don't know it, just don't touch it and pass it up and let it go.
No.
Let the educated people
Mr. Landry,
pass it.
just like every
You know?
politician, it's either
Yeah.
yes or no. Do you agree with me or you do not?
Oh, no, I ain't gonna touch
You agree that it's cheaper to pay the tax than to pay the maintenance on a bad road, correct?
I totally agree.
Thank you, Councilman Landry.
And I'll
Not often do we do, but we
That's
do
it.
on this one. I appreciate
All
that.
right.
Councilman Saunier for the last one?
Yeah, the last thing look, I appreciate Paul more than he knows. That dude's funny as shit. But
What you told me.
no, that's not a lot. No, I'm good now, though. I think Larry made a comment a couple of times about the shoulders of the road. Everybody needs to understand, and Clint, for you, if he's still here, probably knows that better than anybody. If you lose the shoulder of the road, you lose the road. So you have to maintain both. Again, this is a simple decision for people to make at the polls. I mean, you complain about not having good roads. Everybody complains about it, but nobody wants to do anything about it. Now's the time.
That's right.
All you got to do is push the right button, and we'll get it fixed. It's going to take a while, but Now's the time that people can make a difference for
That's it.
themselves. The last thing I'll say is this. I made a comment a while ago that said we wouldn't get business to come here. We're going to struggle to keep business here. The people who have been paying taxes for years and years and years, I think they deserve a little better, a better use of their roads to be able to maintain what they have now.
Good. The gentleman from District 13 yields back. Members, get ready. Final adoption on 242. Vote your machines, members. Final adoption. That motion carries unanimously. Now moving on to summary number 250, introduced by the clerk.
A resolution appointing one member to the 16th Judicial District Children and Youth Planning Board representing business and labor for a 2-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of term for Ms. Jennifer Parr Dewitt, whose term expires December 31st, 2023. Applications on file from Ms. Jennifer Parr Dewitt.
I have a motion by Councilman Brown, second by Councilman Broussard. Councilman Brown.
Oui.
Councilman Broussard. Hearing no other discussions, vote your machines, members, on 250 on final adoption. That motion carries unanimously. Congratulations, Ms. Farr. We appreciate your service to our community. Moving on to summary number 251, introduced by the clerk.
A resolution appointing one member to the 16th Judicial District Children and Youth Planning Board representing criminal justice for a 2-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of term for Judge Trey Hike, whose term expires December 31st, 2023. Applications on file from A. Judge Trey Hike.
Have a motion on the floor by Councilman Brown, second by Councilman Broussard. Councilman Brown.
Oui.
Councilman Broussard. Any main motion discussion, members? Hearing none, vote your machines on the final adoption 251. That motion carries unanimously. Congratulations, Judge Hike. Moving on to summary number 252, introduced by the clerk.
A resolution appointing one member to the 16th Judicial District Children and Youth Planning Board representing Parent and Youth Organization for a 2-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of term for Ms. Brianna Davis, whose term expires December 31st, 2023. Applications on file from A. Ms. Brianna Davis.
Did she speak? I don't think, Ms. Don't you have the list? I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Olivier. Do I have a second? Second by Councilman Broussard. Any discussion, members? I'm just waiting for clarification if she came before us.
That's what I wanted to make.
Okay, she did not come before us tonight, members. Let me clear the board. At this point, did you want to defer into the next meeting? Okay, I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Olivier to defer to the January 10th meeting. Is that okay with the second? Any discussion on the deferment?
Talked about it before, defer versus tabling. Should we table it until we know she's coming? Or?
Well, the problem with tabling is if we know we can get her to come to the next meeting, then we lose. We can take out one parliamentary procedure instead of having a pull from it. It's already going to come back.
Okay,
Yep.
good. Thank you.
Seeing and hearing no other discussion on deferment, vote your machines, members, on summary number 252. Councilman Rawson.
You voting to defer?
This is deferment. Yeah. That motion carries unanimously. Summary number 252 is deferred until the next meeting. Moving on to summary number 253, introduced by the clerk.
A resolution appointing one member to the 16th Judicial District Children and Youth Planning Board representing education for a 2-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of term for Ms. Crystal Arsenault, whose term expires December 31st, 2023. Applications on file from A. Ms. Crystal Arsenault.
Have a motion on the floor by Councilman Paul Landry, second by Councilman Broussard. Councilman Landry?
Waive.
Councilman Broussard. Ms. Arsenault did come before us to speak, members, for clarification. Seeing and hearing no other discussion, vote your machines on final adoption. 253. Vote your machines, members. That motion carries unanimously. Moving on to summary number 254, introduced by the clerk.
A resolution appointing one member to the Acadiana Fairgrounds Commission for a remainder of 5-year term to fill a vacancy created by the resignation of Mr. Chris Ditch, whose term expires September 24th, 2025. Applications on file from A. Mr. Daniel L. Hebert and B. Mr. Clint Freyu.
Just for clarification, I don't believe Mr. Hebert came before us, correct? I know Mr. Freyu came tonight. Okay. Members, I'd ask you tonight, we would have to remove Mr. Hebert. We'll omit Mr. Hebert's name from the ballot tonight, therefore leaving Mr. Freyu if you want to vote your machine. Let me make sure. Councilman Landry, are you?
I was.
Councilman Landry for the motion, second by Councilman Olivier. Any discussion, members? Mr. Landry? Hearing no discussions, voting machines on final adoption, 254 for Mr. Freyu. 254, members.
It's the root.
Congratulations, Mr. Freyu. That motion carries unanimously. Mr. Freyu is appointed. Moving on to summary number 255, introduced by the clerk.
A resolution appointing one member to the Acadiana Fairgrounds Commission for the remainder of a 5-year term to fill a vacancy created by the resignation of Mr. Jonathan Pile, whose term expires August 25th, 2024. Applications on file from A, Mr. Daniel Abear, and B, Mr. Clint Freyu.
Do I have a motion to open 255? I do by Councilman Napier, second by Councilman Broussard. Councilman Napier on discussion.
So, Mr. Chairman, since Mr. Abear has not come before us, let's defer that one to the next meeting.
Yes, is that okay with the second? Yeah. Any discussion on deferment until the next meeting, January the 10th? Hearing in, Councilman Olivier, you? We can amend the language at this point if you'd like to. Let's do this. Yeah, well, he automatically disqualifies anyways because he's already been appointed. Yeah. So it'll read just Mr. Daniel L. Abear, and we have a motion on the floor by Napier and Broussard to defer to the January 10th meeting. Vote your machines on deferment, members. That motion carries. Summary number 255 is deferred. Moving on to summary number 256, introduced by the clerk.
A resolution appointing one member to the Spanish Lake Game and Fishing Preserve Commission for a 4-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of term for Mr. David Tate, whose term expires December 31st, 2023. Applications on file: A, Mr. David Tate, and B, Leonard Mark Mader.
Do I have a motion to open summary number 256? Have that motion by Councilman Olivier, second by Councilman Michael Landry. Members, vote your ballots. Please be mindful that the one we're voting on is to replace Mr. Tate with Mr. Tate again if we can, to keep concurrent on those positions. Not trying to influence a vote. Just asking to keep it the same. Are you finished voting, members?
You did it already.
I know, but I'm gonna make a vote the ballots anyways. And then I'll go back and table to put the deferment on it. What do you you want to put them together? We'll clear the board. Councilman Landry, you was waving?
Yeah.
Ballot number 2, David Tate. Ballot number 3, David Tate. Ballot number 4, Tate. Ballot number 5, Tate. Ballot number 7, Tate. Ballot number 9, Tate. Ballot 10, Tate. Ballot 11, Tate. Ballot 12, Tate. Ballot 13, Tate. Ballot 14, Tate. Congratulations, Dr. Tate. You have been reappointed to summary number 256 on the Spanish board. Moving on to summary number 257, introduced by the clerk.
A resolution appointing one member to the Spanish Lake Game and Fishing Preserve Commission for a 4-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of term for Mr. Leonard Mark Mader, whose term expires December 31st, 2023. Applications on file: A, Mr. David Tate, and B, Mr. Leonard Mark Mader.
Do I have a motion to open 257? Have that by Councilman Paul Landry, second by Councilman Broussard. Councilman Landry?
Waive with an electronic vote.
We'll let the record reflect that we just appointed Mr. Dr. Tate, and that Mr. Leonard Mader has not addressed the council yet. So I'll ask if it's okay with Councilman Landry and Broussard to defer until the January 10th. Yes, sir. Is there any discussion on that, members? Seeing and hearing none, vote your machines on deferment. Sonia is not here, so in voting. That motion carries unanimously. Let the record reflect that Councilman Saunier was absent at voting. Moving on to summary number 258, introduced by the clerk.
A resolution appointing one member to the New Iberia Veterans Memorial Building Advisory Board for a 5-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of term for Ms. Carol Lenny Bodan, which term expired on October 1st, 2023. Applications on file: A, Ms. Carol Lynn Bodan.
Do I have a motion? I have a motion by Councilman Brown, second by Councilman Michael Landry. Councilman Brown. Councilman Landry. Any discussion, members? Hearing and seeing none. Ms. Bodan did speak tonight, so she does qualify. Please vote your machines on final adoption, 258. Was her husband, but I mean, he spoke in her. Hey,
She's sick.
I mean, she's, somebody came. That's all I can say.
Yeah, that's good.
Vote your machines, members. That motion carries unanimously. Congratulations again. Thank you for serving. Moving on to summary number 259, introduced by the clerk of the council.
A resolution appointing one member to the Iberia Parish Waterworks District Number 3 Board for the remainder of a 5-year term to fill a vacancy, which term will expire on August 5th, 2027. Application on file. Mr. Allen
Duet.
Jr.
I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Mathurin. Do I have a second? Second by Councilman Broussard. Councilman Mathurin.
Waive.
Councilman Broussard. Any discussion on the main motion, members? Hearing none, seeing none. Vote your machines on final adoption, 259. That motion carries unanimously. Moving on to summary number 260, introduced by the clerk.
A resolution appointing one member to the Iberia Parish Recreation and Playground Commission for a 5-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of term for Mr. Calvin R. Orrington, which term will expire on January 14, 2024. Applications on file. A, Mr. Calvin R. Orrington. B, Benny Roy.
Just let the record reflect, members, that Mr. Arrington did come before us at the last meeting, but Mr. Roy has not been before the council yet. I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Landry, second by Councilman Olivier. Councilman Landry?
I'm waive.
Okay, Councilman Olivier?
I'm losing.
I'll just move we go ahead and vote on Mr. Arrington.
Please.
Because of the absence of the other.
Okay, let's do that. We'll strike Mr. Roy from this, and we'll vote to replace Mr. Arrington. What, Mr. Arrington? Vote your machines for final adoption on 260, members.
For the record, Michael Landry said you have Eugene.
Councilman Napier?
Wait a minute.
That motion carries unanimously. Moving on to summary number 261, introduced by the clerk.
A resolution appointing one member to the Iberia Parish Recreation and Playground Commission for a 5-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of term for Mr. Chris Sponge, Esponge, which term will expire on January 13, 2024. Applications on file. A, Mr. Calvin R. Arlington. B, Mr. Benny Roy.
Members, before we vote, let the record reflect that we just elected Mr. Arrington on the last one, and Mr. Roy has not been before us. If this is a motion to defer, I'll take that by Councilman Landry, second by Councilman Ralston. Councilman Landry.
Defer.
Councilman Ralston, is it okay with you? Did you want to state, do you want to do it this time, or?
Mike?
Sorry about that.
Should that say it right here? That's all I was asking. Should it say that this is to represent the town of Delton? To make sure.
That's a very good question.
Yeah, it is the Delton representative, I remember.
I think Chris is from Delton.
Chris, that's one of the things.
Where's,
Yeah, this is some. That's what I was asking, but I don't know.
Yes, it is for Delton.
I'd like to make that amendment, just to have it on the record that this is a representative.
Appointment from Delcom.
Yep.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Ralston to amend the language to include appointment from the town of Delcom. Is that okay with the second by Councilman Broussard? Vote your machines on amendment, members, to amend the language. That motion carries unanimously. Back to the main motion with the amendment to defer on January 10th. Vote your machines for final adoption. I'm sorry, for deferment to January 10th meeting. That motion carries unanimously. Summary number 261 is amended and deferred to the next meeting. Moving on to summary number 263, members, I'm going to go out of order because of the reappointment for Mr. Mitchell to reapply him to the same position, then I'll come back to 262. Summary number 263, Madam Clerk.
A resolution appointing one member to the Iberia Parish Regional Planning Commission for a 5-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of term for Mr. Nathaniel Mitchell, which term will expire on February 25th, 2024. Application on file. A, Mr. Nathaniel Mitchell. B, Mr. Robert Richard Broussard. And C, Mr. Keith Bowles.
And members, before we vote, Mr. Bowles was not able to make it tonight, but all three gentlemen did come before the council and speak. So all three of them are qualified, but remember, we are here to replace the current person for reapplication for Mr. Mitchell. Vote your pads, members. I have a motion by Councilman Olivier. Did I have that second? Second by Councilman Michael Landry. Both of you waive for discussion?
Waive.
Are you through voting your pads, members? District 2, Mitchell. District 3, Mitchell. District 4, Mitchell. District 5, Mitchell. This is District 7, Michelle or Mitchell? District 9, somebody voted. Is that 9, Broussard? Broussard. District 10, Mitchell. District 11, Mitchell. District 12, Mitchell. Is that it? District 13, Mitchell. District 14, Mitchell.
Go ahead.
And we have 10 votes for Mr. Mitchell and 1 vote for Mr. Broussard. Congratulations, Mr. Mitchell. Mr. Mitchell is reappointed to the Planning and Zoning Board. We appreciate your service, sir. Going back to summary number 262, introduced by the clerk.
A resolution appointing 1 member to the Iberia Parish Regional Planning Commission for a 5-year term to fill a vacancy created by the resignation of Mr. Jude A. Bear, which term will expire on June 25th, 2024. Applications on file: A, Mr. Nathaniel Mitchell; B, Mr. Robert Richard Broussard Jr., and C, Mr. Keith A. Bowles.
Members, item A will be removed. Mr. Mitchell was appointed already. It'll be between Mr. Broussard and Mr. Bowles. Vote your pads, members. You already voted?
What's this, Scott? Scott, what you say?
Man.
What's Scott? You don't want to be here all night. You don't want to be here all night.
No, not my wife. Oh, I got plans for me early in the morning. Oh, I thought you meant tonight. No.
All right, members. This is why we go quick. When we take a break, the council, the wheels fall off the car. All right, District 2, Bowles. District 3, Broussard. District 4, Bowles. District 5, Broussard. District 7, Broussard. District 9, Broussard. District 10, Bowles. District 11, Broussard. District 12, Bowles. District 14, Bowles. District 13, Lil Robert Richard Broussard.
No. Go back on this one. 14 was not Bowles, it was Broussard.
Did I say, what I said for 14? Broussard. No, I'm sorry. It's Broussard. 14 is Broussard. Sure, everybody. Broussard.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at it and I'm gonna help
How many
you
we
out.
have? Thank you. I appreciate it. About time you step up.
They're both
What you
with,
mean, man?
they're both in with these.
We have 7 for Broussard, 4 for Bowles.
You got 12 people?
That's 11. There's only 11. It's a nice try, though, Mr. Nigger. All right, members, please get your ballot again and revote. You don't have to fold them, just hand them. We got to unfold them anyways. Are you finished voting, members? Ballot number 2, members. All right. Ballot number 2 with the help of Councilman Napier. Bowles.
Bowles.
Number 3, Bowles.
That's not Bowles.
Broussard.
dude.
He caught me.
Damn.
District 4, Bowles. District 5, Broussard. District 7, Broussard. District 9, Broussard. District 10, Bowles. District 11, Broussard. District 12, Bowles. District 13, Broussard. District 14, Broussard. It's bad handwriting. 7 for Mr. Broussard, 4 for Mr. Bowles. Revote your ballots. Ballot number 3, members. We have 62 left to break the record. 62 left. Don't say it can't be done.
We do that for,
We had it before we came. We just
last meeting of the year, we got to give you something.
Just glad we're not in the suit.
Yeah, good thing we're not in the suit. Go to die. Well, good thing I'm here to help.
No, I'm glad you are. You caught me twice. Ballot number 3, members. District 2, Bowles. District 3, Broussard. District 4, Bowles. District 5, Broussard. District 7, Broussard. District 9, Broussard. District 10, Bowles. District 11, Broussard. District 12, Bowles. District 13, Broussard. District 14, Broussard. And on ballot number 3, 7 for Mr. Broussard, 4 for Mr. Bowles. I would flop and go your way for the ones that were Bowles, but I still need about 4 more to come with me. Okay. Have a motion on the floor by Councilman Olivier to defer summary number 262. Do I have a second? Have a second by Councilman Landry.
Okay.
Is there any discussion on deferment, members?
Could we do that?
Mr. Landry, you had the second.
No, I mean, just don't make it look like me and Eugene are punting the ball, but I
Well,
mean,
it seems like it. I didn't want to go there, but you did.
It's okay. Yeah.
All right, members, we have a motion on the floor by Councilman Olivier, second by Landry. No discussion to defer to the next meeting, January 10th. Vote your machines, members.
I got my wife here tonight. I don't want to keep her here tonight.
Bojangles don't close till 10. Napier, no. That motion carries. Summary number 262 defers. Is that what it gets like at the last meeting? You defer it? All right. Congratulations, members.
All right.
Summary number 264, introduced by the clerk.
A resolution appointing one member to the Iberia Parish Tourist Commission for a 3-year term to fill a vacancy created by the expiration of term for Ms. Phoebe A. Hayes, which term will expire on December 31st, 2023. Application on file. A. Ms. Jackie Reedham.
Do I have a motion? I have a motion by Councilman Paul Landry, second by Councilman Michael Landry. Councilman Landry on discussion?
Anybody that went to More Cornwall, I have to vote for, so I support her.
Duly noted, Councilman Landry. Councilman Landry?
I waive.
Hearing no other discussion, vote your machines on final adoption 264, members. You can proceed. Let the record reflect that Councilman Napier is absent at voting. That motion carries unanimously. Moving on to summary number 265.
A resolution granting preliminary and final plat approval to a subdivision of property belonging to Chris Bezer located on Coteau Road in District 14 to subdivide 120.57 acres of property into 6 lots for commercial use, subject to compliance with Planning Commission Staff Report PC 2023-0007, all as reviewed and recommended by the Iberia Parish Regional Planning Commission.
I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Mathurin, second by Councilman Broussard. Councilman Mathurin.
Looks like, speaking of Jacob, everything's in order and it was recommended by the planning and zoning.
It was favorably out of planning and zoning. Okay. Councilman Mathurin yields back. Councilman Broussard on discussion?
No waive.
Hearing no other discussion, vote your machines on final adoption 265, members. Councilman Napier is absent at voting. No. That motion carries unanimously. Moving on to summary number 266, introduced by the clerk, by the Regional Planning Commission.
A resolution granting preliminary and final plat approval to a subdivision of property belonging to Carol Boudreaux located on 1401 Parkview Drive in District 6 to subdivide 5.55 acres of property into 3 lots for commercial use, subject to compliance with Planning Commission Staff Report PC 2023-0008, all as reviewed and recommended by the Iberia Parish Regional Planning Commission.
Have a motion on the floor by Councilman Paul Landry. Do I have a second? Second by Councilman Olivier. Councilman Landry.
Yeah, I know Mr. Carroll, and I mean, that's an area that's going to be growing, you know, right off of Lewis Street and everything. So since the planning board is supporting it, I'm going with it.
Councilman Landry yields back. Councilman Olivier is recognized.
Yeah, I know Paul wants to agree with this one, but I have to agree with it too.
Man.
We're calling it bye-bye.
Yeah.
What's good, man? I wish I would have did that 4 years.
Uh-oh.
All right, Councilman Olivier yields back. That was a cheap shot. I'm sorry.
That come on you.
Is there any other discussion? I know it was recommended out of planning and zoning. Here and seeing none, please vote your machines on 266 final adoption. That motion carries unanimously. Mr. Boudreau, we appreciate your investment in our community. Moving on to summary number 267, introduced by the Planning Commission.
A resolution granting preliminary and final plat approval to a subdivision of property belonging to, sorry, I'm unsure of the pronunciation of the first and the last name, so I'll spell it out.
Andrews Alamo.
No,
No.
Vorasane, that's the first name, last name, Phothisane. And Jim, I'm gonna spell out the last name on this one also, Phothisane, located on Andrews Alamo Road in District 14 to subdivide 3 acres of property into 6 lots for residential use, subject to compliance with Planning Commission Staff Report PC 2023-0009, all as reviewed and recommended by the Iberia Parish Regional Planning Commission.
Mr. Mathurin, were you doing it to open up or to say the name? Councilman Mathurin.
Name my neighbors, I still don't have a clue.
Second by Councilman Landry. Councilman Mathurin.
Same thing. Speaking of Jacob, everything's in order and it was recommended, so.
Good. Councilman Mathurin yields back. Councilman Landry.
I agree.
Hearing no other discussion, vote your machines on final adoption. 267 members. That motion carries unanimously. Moving on to summary number 268, introduced by the Region Planning Commission.
A resolution granting preliminary and final plat approval to a subdivision of property belonging to Brian M. Allen, located on East Amador Drive in District 2, to subdivide 51.113 acres of property into 3 lots for commercial use, subject to compliance with Planning Commission Staff Report PC 2023-0010, all is reviewed and recommended by the Iberia Parish Regional Planning Commission.
Have a motion on the floor by Councilman Michael Landry, second by Councilman Olivier. Councilman Landry.
Planning and zoning favorable, so I agree.
Councilman Landry yields back. Councilman Olivier is recognized.
I waive.
Man, I'd just like to say, I mean, this is big. 51 acres. That's a big. It's a big deal there.
Mm-hmm.
Vote your machines on final adoption, members. Again, we appreciate everybody's investment in the parish. That motion carries unanimously. Moving on to summary number 269, introduced by the parish president.
A resolution amending 2023 criminal justice facility and royalty fund budgets in the amount of $65,530 to appropriate additional funding needed to fund security services for hospitalized inmates, $40,000, and juvenile housing costs $25,530, and recognize transfers between said funds, all to be funded from fund balance previous years of royalty fund.
Do I have a motion, members? Motion by Councilman Olivier. Do I have a second? Second by Councilman Michael Landry. Councilman Olivier on discussion.
Waive.
Councilman Landry.
Waive.
Councilman Saunier.
Kim, do we have this money in the royalty fund? Okay, I'm good.
Councilman
Kim
Saunier.
Segura says it's good.
Councilman Saunier yields back. No further discussion. Vote your machines on final adoption. 269 members. That motion carries unanimously. Moving on to summary number 270, introduced by the parish president.
A resolution amending 2024 general fund budget in the amount of $5,918 to appropriate additional funding to cover additional salary increases, 8.03%, for court reporters per court order effective January 1st, 2024, all to be funded from fund balance previous years.
Do I have a motion? I have a motion by Councilman Napier, second by Councilman Olivier. Councilman Napier.
Waive.
Councilman Olivier.
Waive.
Hearing no other discussions, vote your machines on final adoption on 270 members.
General fund.
The motion by
That's what
order
I
of
want-
the
that's what I
judge.
need to see.
That motion passes unanimously. Moving on to summary number 271, introduced by Scott Rossney, District 9.
A resolution amending resolution number 2011-61, adopted March 9, 2011, which approved a list of parish drainage channels to be sprayed, ditches and channels as listed, in order to remove Ed Broussard Road from the spray list and further to add same to the grass cutting list.
Have a motion on the floor by Councilman Rossney, second by Councilman Broussard. Councilman Rossney on discussion.
We discussed it in committee, and I hope I have the support. Thank you.
Councilman Rossney yields back. Councilman Broussard. Hearing no other discussions, vote your machines on summary 271 on final adoption. Councilwoman Brown. That motion carries unanimously. Moving on to summary number 272, introduced by Warren P. Gosh, Senior District 5.
A resolution amending resolution number 2023-1155 to advise the formal name and address of Global Risers US LLC in support of a subzone site within the foreign trade zone for Global Risers USA Inc.
Do I have a motion? Have a motion by Councilman Olivier, second by Councilman Landry. Councilman Olivier.
Definitely, I should support this one, because you know these are international zones we created. This is one of them, so.
This is just.
We're just clarifying on the language. We've already passed this.
I know, it is, but we want to make sure we get this through.
Councilman Olivier yields back. Councilman Landry.
I waive.
Hearing no other discussion, vote your machines on final adoption 272, members. Councilman Mathurin. That motion carries unanimously. Members, before we get to publication, we do have an expansion by the clerk. To discuss and consider a motion to expand the agenda, discuss and consider the following items. Summary number 273, introduced by the parish president.
A resolution amending 2024 Waterworks District Number 3 fund budget in the amount of $6,650,000 to create project line items for water sector approved projects, recognize water sector federal revenues, $5 million recognized ARPA funding, $1,650,000 previously committed by Iberia Parish Council Resolution Number 2021-167, and appropriate expenditure line items. Said project funding also includes $400,000 of funding committed by Waterworks District Number 3 fund. The purpose of this expansion is to expedite the appropriation of expenditure line items for said project funding committed by Waterworks District Number 3 fund.
Members, if we move this favorably, we'll strike through in committee so we don't have to address it. I'll need a motion to expand. It's non-debatable. I have a motion on the floor by Michael Landry, second by Councilman Olivier. Vote your machines, members, on expansion. Councilman Napier. That motion carries unanimously. We now have expanded the agenda. I need a motion to go into public hearing. Have that motion by Councilman Napier, second by Councilman Landry. Vote your machines, members, to go into public hearing. Councilman Broussard. That motion carries unanimously. We now into public hearing. At this time, anybody from the general public want to address summary number 273? Hearing and seeing none, I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Olivier, second by Councilman Rossney. Vote your machines to go back into regular session, members. That motion carries. We're now back into a regular session. I need a motion to suspend the rules. The item did not go to joint committee. I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Olivier, second by Councilman Landry. Vote your machines, members, on the suspension of the rules.
Some changes.
It don't matter. We're gonna have
What
it.
happened?
We're good. Don't matter. Vote your machines. Councilman Saunier? That motion carries. The suspension of the rules are favorable. Moving on to motion, I need a motion to open the main motion. I have that by Councilman Napier, second by Councilman Landry. Councilman Napier?
Wait.
Councilman Landry? Any other discussion? Hearing and seeing none, vote your machines on the main motion, members. That motion carries unanimously. All right, Mr. Crater, I know he was somewhere around here. It's time to get to work.
He's good. He's right here.
Thank you, Mr. Crater. We appreciate you, buddy. Moving on to ordinances introduced for publication. Summary number 5290, introduced by the Regional Planning Commission. Members, this is just for publication purposes. Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
An ordinance approving the reclassification request for the property of Abdul Shahid located at 5106 Highway 14, New Iberia, Louisiana, with said parcel being rezoned from R-2 mixed residential to C-2 commercial, located in District 13, without recommendation by the Iberia Parish Regional Planning Commission.
Okay. Members, just to remind the general public that our next meeting is January 10th, that we still have adjudicated properties available on our website at iberiaparishgovernment.com, and that the stormwater survey is there. Please take it if you're on the website. Before we adjourn, members, I will give you the opportunity for each member to say something of our 3 members that are leaving us. We do have one by Councilman Napier.
Let me just say this first. Could you, about the inauguration, could you just say something about that while the camera's
Yes,
going?
our inauguration is going to be on Monday, January the 8th. I'm glad you said that. At the courthouse, is courtroom 8, January the 8th at 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock in the morning.
9 o'clock is when it starts. After the inauguration, I'm going to have a reception at the Slyman Theater, and each council member and their families are welcome to attend.
What about the ones that are getting thrown out?
You too. It's actually open to the community, you know, so it's
Yeah,
just
so
going to
you
be a
can-
reception. And that's going to be from 11 to 2.
11 to 2.
For the adjournment, I think that the motion would be from Eugene Paul and I.
That's fine. That's not a problem.
But we're not adjourned.
No, we're not. But at this time, I'm going to give the opportunity to members as we go on. We'll allow the 3 members to go to the well. If you want to start first, Mr. Saunier, to give you goodbyes at the well.
I don't know why you call it a well.
Because that's where everybody comes to ask for money, so we call it the well.
That's where we're gonna go in.
Come on,
Well, we had to go to the dungeon earlier. I'm just waiting to get invited to the train station.
No, you don't want to
That's
go
next.
there. You don't want to go to the train station.
Councilman Saunier, your last time, ring the bell.
Well, this won't be the last time, Warren. Y'all gonna see me again. I just want to say that I want to thank everybody, first of all, on this council for giving me the opportunity to finish up Marty's term. I think that when Marty died, we lost a very colorful character in this chamber, not to mention in the parish as a whole, because everybody knows that every district was Marty's, if y'all hadn't figured that out yet. The other thing is just for the relationships that I've gained since 2016 here. I want to thank Larry for asking me to come to work here. I think it was the right time for the right group of people to turn some things into, I'm not going to say into a better direction, but I would be remiss not to say that this parish is in a much better position than it was prior to this group getting together, and some of the people that were here before also. It's been fun, to say the least. I hope I haven't offended anybody, because I kind of like this. I enjoy a good argument every once in a while, but it's all in good spirit. I take what we do personally sometimes, because I think it's inherent upon the people who choose to do this to make the right decisions for the right reasons. I think, unfortunately, when you look at the national news and sometimes local and state levels, people do things, I'm not quite sure why, but we should always put the greater good for the greater amount of people first in what we do. And you should stand for what you believe in. Larry said something earlier about Paul. Paul's a guy that if he believes in something, he's going to stand for it. And I think that everybody in here is like that, just in a different way. We're all passionate about what we do, and we're passionate about this parish, as we should be. And I just ask that those, Cayman, read, learn as much as you can, and just think before you make a decision. It shouldn't just be based on emotion. I mean, there's a lot of fact that goes into what we do, and sometimes that fact goes against the way you feel. And you just have to be well educated to make the decisions that you do. And you're going to go home sometimes wondering why you did this, because the people that were screaming for you yesterday are going to be screaming at you tomorrow. That's right. So good luck to everybody. I've enjoyed my time here, and I'll come visit from time to time. I might argue a little bit, Mike, just to do it. But thank y'all very much.
State, if you can, Mr. Saunier, Ms. Carey's going to present you with some, but we do have some comments for you.
This certificate is in recognition of your professionalism and dedication to Iberia Parish government and the citizens of Iberia Parish from 2022 through 2023.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We do have a few comments by Mr. Napier.
Oh, no.
Scott, look, we joke around a lot. We do. But from right here, brother, I learned a lot from you before you sat here. When you came to work for Larry, you were so professional, you were so dedicated to making the administration be as successful as it could be. I mean, that was what we were talking about earlier, 10 of us that were new. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm personally gonna miss you, your knowledge, your swagger, you know, all of that. All of that.
Swagger.
Yeah.
Jimmy Swagger.
Yeah, I had to think a long time. But no, seriously, Scott, thank you for all you do for the parish and for your district. And Marty is up there, and he's so proud of you.
Absolutely.
And we
I
all
appreciate
are.
that.
Thank you so much for everything you've done for all of us.
Councilman Michael Andrew?
Brian, I'll tell you though, you know, I took full advantage of y'all inexperience, right?
We figured that out now.
Yeah.
You know, when I first came on the council, I guess I was the older young gun, because everybody had about 7 or 8 months on me, and they knew a lot more than I knew. Brown knew much more than I knew. But you helped me out whenever I called, especially when you went to Public Works. I used to like to go over there just to mess with you more than anything else, but you helped me out because I was getting calls and I didn't know what to do. And you really did well for me. Thank you, and I'm going to miss you. I'm going to miss you sitting next to me. I'm going to argue. So, thank you, brother.
I'm going to get a little chair and come sit between y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Landry. Seeing no other, Scott, go ahead, absolutely.
If I can, look, Scott and I go back for a long time. And when I became the parish president and I had to pick someone to work with me to be the chief administrative officer, it was a lot that went into that. And I called Scott for quite some time. I mean, you see the picture where we go back some 25 years ago, 30, somewhere in that area. And I wanted someone that would come here that would actually, again, we was in a bind. You know, it didn't take long for us to see that we was going to be in a bind from what we read from when we got elected in October to when we started in January. And I talked to Scott for quite some time because Scott come from a position where he was a vice president at a company. And you know how parish government work, and you know how to pay work over here, and you're trying to get the best talent that you can possibly get. So it took a lot of nights for me to convince him that this was the right job, and you know, was trying to do something for the parish. And after quite some time, he decided that he was going to come here, and I was very, 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 very happy. And you know, I had people saying, "Well, who is Scott Saunier?" Nobody knew Scott Saunier because he lived in Delcom, and Delcom is like on the other end of the world from here, from, you know, as far as
Got to cross that bridge, baby.
So when we got in here and he started working, it didn't take long for the people on the council to realize that we had some talent and that we was going to be able to get some things done. And the chief administrative officer's job in this parish is like a vice president of the whole business, the general manager of the whole business. Every person that we have that work in Iberia Parish reports to the CAO, every person. Every department head, everything. You know, I could have said all of that earlier when I was talking about you, but I was trying to give equal time to all of you guys as a councilman. But the job that you had as a chief administrative officer, just like the job that Bo have, you already know it. It's a tough job. It's a very tough job because while the CAO is doing his thing, I'm trying to do my things. It's a lot of work, but thank you for everything you did for the parish. I appreciate it.
Look, I'm gonna say this, Larry.
Don't make it bad now, please.
That dude called me probably 30 times, and I was like, "No, I ain't doing this." And I remember the day that changed. We were under the pavilion in Delcom. I don't remember what it was for. There was some presentation or something. I remember what I had on, though. You like my jacket a lot. So Larry said, "Man, I think he was giving it one more shot." And he said, "Well, you need to come be my CAO." I said, "Well, Larry, we just need to sit down and talk." I never said no, you know. So that's where that day is where we made the decision. But I'll say this, and Bo, I can tell you that the best advice that I can give to you is spend time with the people that you work with. I mean, you got some very, very talented people here that know things that I know you don't, because I didn't know them when I got here, and I'd been in government for a long time. But Kim Segura is probably the smartest person in the room. Our biggest issue was money. That was the first place I planted my little behind, was in her office. And she taught me more about the budget in a couple of days than a lot of people are willing to learn in a couple of years. And it's not easy. But once you kind of figure it out, it's not hard. You just can't spend more than you bring in. I mean, it's that simple. It's just bigger numbers. That's all it is. You know, Gene, I didn't get the opportunity to work with you, but we were talking to Gene long before he retired. Herman Broussard, Dexter. I learned more from those guys at Public Works about this parish than anybody else. Water, it does flow downhill. We just have a lot of it. And we got a bunch from the south that's trying to push uphill, so that's our biggest issue. You know, Cindy's got probably the toughest job, because if Larry didn't want to take the call, Cindy does. I mean, that's the way that works. So, but we've got some really, really good people who work here behind the scenes, and nobody ever sees them. But I think that the intellectual horsepower that is within this group or within this parish is something that we need to turn a light on at some point. It's tough to work. They don't make enough money, and we all know that. Right. And it's hard to get there, but the general populace does not see what these people do day to day. I mean, and that's a shame, because they work their butts off. And I've said this on many occasions, it's a thankless job. And look, Terry Landry, your brother said this in a meeting one day, all the yelling and screaming and all that you hear, if you just go talk to him, Terry said this, and I've been a paramedic for a long time, my whole career, and he was a state trooper, and somebody asked us one day in a meeting, I bet y'all see some bad stuff and you talk to some bad people. And that's true, but what he said was there's more good people in the world than bad. And this parish is full of that. There are more good people here than bad. And I think, again, your staff does a lot of work and that nobody sees, so it's kind of tough. I'll stand up here and talk all night, though, if y'all don't make me sit down.
We didn't have anybody else, but I did want to comment on something to you. I did want to say, I know you might have not known this, but at some certain points and critical points during our first few years of tenure, you were a bridge from the administration to the legislative branch. And I'm going to tell you, I came here in my mid-20s, and I was strong, gung-ho. You know, I wanted to change the world. And then I realized I needed 7 other people to help me do that. And you helped me, you guided me a lot. And I'll never forget those times when we've had those drag-out fights, and that calm sensation was able to get things done. And we actually made a lot of things happen at the round table that I think some people just through conversation doesn't understand how government can work it sometimes. I think a lot of people call it fighting and fussing, but it's debate. Paul said it earlier. I mean, it's best. This is government at work. We all come from different backgrounds. We're put here to go and represent both sides, but at the end of the day, sometimes we have to cross the aisle to do what's best for the whole parish. And I think you brought that perspective here. You were running on day one when you came here, and I think it's going to be hard to replace that, but I have faith in who's coming. But Scott, thank you for your public service, because I'm going to tell you, it goes unnoticed. I know it went unnoticed a lot because we were in tough times, and we're getting better, but we're getting better because you were part of that. So I appreciate that. Please thank your family, because those are the ultimate people who give sacrifice for all of us to be up here tonight.
Yeah, she expects me to be washing dishes and all that.
So again, Scott, thank you very much. If you can grab Mr. Macharan's mic, just so we can catch it on right here.
Scott, I'd like to say I enjoyed the 6 years working with you just as much as you enjoyed working with me. And the thing that I'm going to miss the most is the papers flying with the fan on.
Some of what Kim's talking about. Look, my orientation here, thanks to Larry, he prepared me well. I got off that elevator and walked down that hall, and they opened that door, and he said, "Come in here." It was a conference room. My first experience here, I went right into a meeting, and then I went into my office, and I'm not going to name who was there before because I didn't really know the guy, but somebody asked me, "What's it like to be in there?" I think Kim might have asked me. So I said, there was so much paper in there and so much going on. I said, basically the way it feels is as though somebody threw a bunch of paper in here and there's fans all over the floor and it's just flying all over. I just grabbed something and tried to learn about it. It was that was a fun time. 10 minutes into the job, I thought I'd made a mistake. But anyway, thank you all for those comments.
Thank you for your service, Scott.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, going to the well, we have Mr. Olivier. Members, those who want to give some congratulatory speeches.
Thank you, Mr. Gotchasin. You know, when I first decided to run for office back in 2015, of course, I had a discussion with my wife because I knew how challenging it was going to be serving on the parish council. You know, I've been sitting in these meetings prior to making a decision to run, and I talked with my family. I said, look, yeah, if I do this, you're not going to see a whole lot of me because I'm going to be running around busy all the time and doing things that I never thought I'd be doing before. I knew it was that type of a job, a position. But anyway, you know, serving 8 years for District 10, it was an honor, actually. I feel that I accomplished quite a bit for my district during those times. Not just the district, but for the whole parish in a whole, you know. We accomplished so much over the past 8 years, so from starting off with a budget that was pretty much broke to coming now with a daily cash available of $254 a day, which is, I think is a great achievement for this whole administration and this whole council, my colleagues. And each of you brings a unique perspective to these chairs. Y'all really do. You know, I've learned a lot from each of one of you. I kind of learned your habits in a way. Which, you know, I kind of read y'all sometime before you even say anything because I know what you're going to say. But anyway, all in all, that it was a joy, you know, serving the parish on this council. And not just the council, even serving on the Police Jury Association. I had the opportunity to do things that I've seen colleagues from other parishes do that I was involved with prior to even serving on the council. I got to serve in some key positions with the Louisiana Police Jury Association, got to meet a lot of great people in Baton Rouge and from around the state, from every parish in this state, you know, from police jurors to councils, just like what we have. There's quite a few leaders in this state. Meeting with state representatives from this state, from all over the state, doing my travels. Meeting senators from all over the state, doing my travels. It's been a great opportunity for me. And not just that, meeting with the governor as well. Having an opportunity to travel with Larry to Baton Rouge on a regular basis, you know, knocking on senators and congressmen's desks and representative desks about funding and about opportunities that we can bring to Iberia Parish. You know, learned so much, you know, even during the session, even after hours of session at the barracks over there. Just casual, you know, having a drink with the representatives and the senators and getting to know them better and getting to understand, you know, what they're talking about and what our needs are here in Iberia Parish. It's been great. It's been a great run. Even on a national level, serving with the NACO, National Organization of Counties, you meet so many great people from around this country. I really wish y'all had the opportunity to do what I did the last 8 years. The friends I made across this country, from Washington State all the way to Miami, Florida, you know, from East Coast to West Coast, North to South. There's a lot of great people in this country, and a lot of people have the same challenges we have over here, you know. They're fighting fires up in the mountains, we're fighting flooding down here. You know, we share a lot of common ideas about each of those situations and mitigations. But it's been great. It's been great, and I would love to have the opportunity to continue doing this. But of course, you know, God gave other plans for me at this point. I'd like to thank God for everything He gave me, of course, you know, to this point here. And my family, thank you all for supporting me all these years as well. And as far as the staff of the council, fantastic. Enjoyed working with Sherry, because she's new, but Brenda been here when I started. Brenda and I had a real great working relationship. She helped me in a lot of my preparations for a lot of the national and state meetings that I had to go to. Larry, your staff, Bo, Cindy. I know you fuss at me every time I call you, but that's okay. You took care of the problems that I had, so I appreciate all that. Yeah, but anyway, you know, the only challenge I give y'all leaving is that, you know, get involved. You know, getting involved on the state and national level, because that's what the dollars are. You know, if you want to get dollars to Iberia Parish, I think through Larry's administration, he showed where we can bring money in from state and federal government, and that's going to be our challenge. Okay, thank you all for your friendship. Thank you all for your kindness and support, and I wish everyone well.
Councilman Landry on a comment.
You want to let?
Oh, I'm sorry, Gary. Yeah, sure.
I'm about to speak.
On behalf of the Parish of Iberia, I present this certificate to you in recognition of your professionalism and dedication to Iberia Parish government and the citizens of Iberia Parish from 2016 through 2023.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
All right, Mr. Landry.
Gene and I've been knowing you, I guess, before this council days. But one thing I think everybody ought to take, the information you brought back from these conferences and conventions in Washington, D.C., I don't know how we're going to replace that. You work tirelessly for this parish, not just for your district, this whole parish. And I think we're going to be missing something. I don't know who's going to step up and take your place, but job well done. And I'm going to miss you on this council.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah.
Thank you, Councilman Landry. Councilman Napier.
Eugene. Eugene, I know you're not going to believe this, but I am going to miss you. Our politics sometimes crossed a lot, but
that's what make the process work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
we would go. We hadn't done it lately, but we'd go eat out after, have a drink. We would fight here and then go sit next to each other and have a drink and laugh about it, right?
We don't
That's
fight.
what-
We debate over here. That's
Yeah,
all we do.
debate,
We
yeah.
be friends.
But that's
We're
what I
all
love
friends.
about you. You know, you're a kind gentleman. You really are. The two things that I'm gonna, when I think of Eugene Olivier, is number one, our debates on travel. I will always think about that. When that would come up, I know when you'd come to those meetings, you would always be thinking, what the hell is Brian gonna say tonight about the travel money? But look, you did very well for us. You brought back a lot of information, and I thank you for all of that. Number two is that night we sat here till midnight voting on a chairman, and we were locked in for hours. My wife was texting me wanting to know what ballroom I was in. She didn't believe I was still here. But in the end, I was the one that switched and gave you the chairmanship, right?
That's correct.
And then the next meeting, when we came, you put me sitting way in the back. You did. Yeah,
I knew it was coming. That was COVID did that. It wasn't me.
It was COVID. You know, we had to spread out. Yeah. But I'm way in the back where Bo's at over there.
I thought you had forgot about it.
Oh no! But Eugene, I love you, dude. I'll always remember you and the dedication and the heart you had for District 10 and Iberia Parish. We're gonna miss you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, during
you,
COVID, I was the parish's biggest challenge is serving on this council. Right, thank
Councilman Broussard.
Yeah, this is for all the guys. I'll kind of say something right now for all of them. But there's 14 members here, and there's been a bunch of members before us, and there'll be a bunch of members after us, right? So, however the Lord sees fit, whatever that timeline is that we sit here, make an impact, right? And I think all three of these gentlemen, from my perspective, has done that, a positive impact. So, you know, keeping it really short and sweet. I really appreciate you guys and the impact y'all made, however long the Lord saw fit to see you guys here. And, you know, the rest of us that are, and the new guys coming in, what are we going to do to be impactful with our time here, whatever that time may look like. So that's it. Just wanted to kind of say that out there. Appreciate all three of you.
Thank you, Councilman. Yep. Councilman Saulnier.
Listen, I'll echo some of what they've already said, but Eugene, I'm going to tell you this. I like attention to detail. I don't always seem that way, but Larry will tell you. I'm the guy that reads the whole thing, probably twice. So in these meetings, whether I was sitting over there or sitting right here, and whether we were on the same side of an argument or not, you were the guy that I always paid attention to because you well read, no doubt. You paid attention to what the issue was or what you were trying to do, and I'll always appreciate that about you. The second thing is, and amazingly Brian said it, you're a gentleman.
Amazingly.
No, I mean, he hit it. It's right on. You have a lovely wife. I've had the opportunity to spend a little time with y'all away from work, and you're just good people. And you are, by far, what Brian said, you're a gentleman. I've never seen you get angry. He never verbalized it.
Not in the meeting.
And Brian, I'll say this, no good deed goes unpunished. So, yeah, that's right. I will always appreciate you being here, though, Eugene. Good, I think you did a fantastic job here, no doubt.
Enjoyed it, enjoyed it.
Councilman Sonia, anyone else, members that want to speak?
I'd like to say
Parish
something.
President?
Eugene, the one thing I want to say about you, and there's a lot of things I could say about you, is that you always prepared. Very, very similar to what Brian is, Scott was talking about. You're always prepared. When you're coming and you're talking about something, you have your ducks in a row. You know what it is that you want to say. You know how you want to articulate it. Some people may like to hear what you're saying. Some people may not. But as long as you're speaking the real deal and you're prepared and you're saying the truth, that's all that counts. And you have been one consistent person here. Very, very consistent. Every time you come up here to talk about something, whether people are going to agree with what you're saying or not, you was always prepared. Sometimes you were a little bit too prepared when you would come to my office because you have all this work you got me doing, and it's still me, Cindy, and both, and Edie. And he bring all these projects and projects and projects and projects, you know, and it's great because we got money from it and things like that, and we got a lot that's going to be happening because of some of the directions you actually, I don't want to even say directions, some of the work you did to get these projects here is definitely not going to be unnoticed, and by me anyway. But most people have no clue the amount of work that he actually put into this parish. I think the council members know. I'm talking about the general public. Good job. You did a great job.
Thank you, Larry. And I'm going to make sure you finish up on all those projects too.
You will. Oh, I know you will.
I see no other requests. Mr. Eugene, I remember our first meeting like it was yesterday to the times where it was tough. And I agree with both of these gentlemen. You didn't lose your cool in the meeting, but we had our exchange of heat at some point. But you always came prepared. And what I always respected about you, you were like me, you always respected the rules, because the rules always protected us whether we were in the majority or the minority, and that's why we respect the rules to this point. But thank you for your service. I do see your wife here, and I'd like for the camera to chime in on your wife, because at the end of the day, the sacrifice is really there, because like you said earlier, you were going from home a lot. So Miss Olivier, thank you. Yeah, thank you for giving him to us. Again, without those pillars holding up the house, he couldn't have given this time to us and to the parish. And Mr. Richard is right. I don't think anyone would be able to even imagine the shoes that Mr. Olivier's brought before this council and the knowledge that we are forever cherished with. So again, thank you for your service. We do have Lady Brown does have one thing.
I would just like to thank you, Mr. Eugene, for always answering my calls and my questions. You were always just one phone call away, and your knowledge, I mean, it's just astounding to know, you know, the wealth of knowledge that you obtained serving these 8 years. And I know I'll still be calling you because you are, just because, you know, you're one of those people that definitely are hard to replace, and you're one in a million, and you're actually an inspiration to me in so many ways. And of course, the other reason is you're our family mechanic. So, I'm gonna see you. You know, you will always be appreciated. And a job well done.
Sure,
Thank you so much.
We want the same discounts.
I'm happy to help you in any way possible. Not a problem.
Thank you so much again. We appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, our last one. Last but not least, Mr. Landry, I think you owe it to the public. You owe it to your family. Step before the mic over there at the podium.
I'm worried about getting too emotional.
No, I'm okay with that. We got you.
You know that, yeah, I remember you in the audience because I could see the back of your head because I was even further. I was behind you. I called it the chairman's graveyard.
Go ahead, Mr. Landry. Miss Carey's waiting on you. Go to the podium, please. Miss Carey wants to present you. It's not often we got to see you on that side.
Yeah, I did talk up here one time, and it was really nice that Eugene, you know, when he decided to run, he, you know, met with his wife and told her what he thought. I was with a group of guys, and we were trying to think of how we could fix the parish, and we were drinking, and I said, well, I'm in District 7, I'll run, and I didn't have the nerve to tell my wife for 3 months. So, you know, when we got elected in January of 16, you know, you're sitting up here and you're thinking 3 meetings a month, and we did cut it down, and, you know, you're looking at, you know, so many, and it was like a couple hundred that we would have been here, and here we are in the last half hour of, you know, of what we're going through, and it has been a pleasure. And, you know, somebody a couple weeks ago said, well, you know, you think you accomplished a lot, and, you know, I was like, yeah, you know, and you're going through your head, and then I started going through the cabinet and going through the packets and throwing it away, and I started reading them, you know, and I started looking at all the stuff that we did accomplish. You know, I always told y'all one of the biggest thing, you know, when we were getting the 911 building up and the hospital was having some issues, you know, and I just thought that was one of the really biggest thing for our community, is to have the best. And I know I've been around at the police jury meetings, and that would be brought up from time to time. And when we told people about the building that we had and everything like that, they were really impressed. And I know they did come to Prescott sometime to look at his designs. But, you know, we also learned about water control structures. We got here and we were flooding out in 16, and, you know, then we learned that we could get some money from GOSEP and all the other organizations and how to put it together, and we got that going. Courthouse security, I remember I asked Brenda probably 2-3 months into it, you have keys to the upstairs, and she said, yeah, you know. So, you know, I told Natalie later, yeah, I'm going to the jail upstairs to see what kind of building we got, and I was shocked that you could walk in the back doors, go around the door, get in the elevator, go up to the 2nd floor, and walk into the courtroom. And I just thought, you know, somebody really mad at somebody could just walk through all that and could have killed anybody. We redid the courtrooms. We took care of the sewage issue on 90. We spent a lot of time paying down debt. We had the opioid settlement. Progress Point, we helped AIDA get that going. ARA Airport is really becoming a big thing for us now. We've learned that we don't have natural gas and things out there, and with First Solar. We learned about the foreign trade zones. We had the issues with the veteran buildings, and we got that all under, you know, under what we needed to. Reduce voting locations. In today's world, I just didn't think we needed as many, and we reduced a lot. That'll help the clerk of court and all them. We got the roundabouts starting to be built, and I really think that's a big deal for the future. The sheriff's building, we have 4 obligations as a council. It's to have a courthouse, to have a place for the DA, to have a place for the sheriff, and have a jail, you know. And it was way time to bring all the sheriff's locations all together, and we ended up doing that. Every audit by the legislative auditor came out perfect for us, and that falls again to Kimberly over there that does a great job for us. Now we're starting to get broadband in the rural areas, you know, and I know that's going to continue. We got the condemnation hearing and knocking down buildings. I mean, just look at Brian's area. That neighborhood must be totally excited. And, you know, down the road, I think, you know, I just wish we didn't have to go through so many hoops and things like that. You know, everybody says, well, you know, you have a right to those people. Well, what about all the other people in the neighborhoods, you know? I wish there was some kind of quick take the state could give us where we just knock them down. We started helping with the funding of IDF, and I really believe seeing this thing that we got going with First Solar, I think next year y'all should double that. Brad's over here, you know, the sewer and water departments. I was on the sewer board before I came here, and there was the talk of turning it over to the parish, you know, and we came out with the sewer user fees, and I know a lot of people were upset about that, but now they're just paying the same thing all the other parishes are doing. You know, we've landed First Solar, and now we have all the people coming behind them that's going to come. Disappointments, you know, we had talked about expanding the TIF, and it just, you know, just kind of fell by the wayside. Closing of the wildlife and fishery down over here was a terrible thing that happened to us. I wish it had never happened. And I know it pops up, and I don't know if there's an answer for it, but putting a ramp at the courthouse for the handicapped people to do it. you know, as you go around town, you hear people talk, and they talk about First Solar failing, you know. And I told one guy, I said, you know, you just got to kiss a lot of frogs to find the prince, you know, in Iberia Parish, got lipstick on, and we're puckered up. But I was over
Can we
here.
freeze the, can we go back and freeze the tape on that and fall back? Mr. Landry, so I don't get
Just
you know,
testing.
Hey, you deserve it, Paul. Say it again.
No, do not say it again, Mr. Landry.
No, you know, a lot of y'all, you know, me and Eugene were here a lot, many years, 7 years before, you know, watching the council and things like that. And people would ask me, well, why do you come to these meetings? I said, well, it's all about money. And they said, what do you mean? I said, well, I used to go to comedy night in Lafayette, but my wife wouldn't let me spend the gas money to go, so I came over here. But the one thing I didn't want to do tonight is, and Mr. Lloyd's probably the only one to remember this. I was sitting here one time, and there was an individual that got elected to another office, and he just started tearing his neighbor down. And I just thought that that was, you know, so you know, bad. And I just wanted to give a good goodbye to everybody, and I'll be around. And, you know, anytime y'all need any help passing a road tax or anything, it's just educating the people. And, you know, you really got a good team. You know, if we keep keep steering it the right way, y'all gonna go on to see a lot of better things. Let's go, girl.
On behalf of the Parish of Iberia, this certificate is being presented in recognition of your professionalism and dedication to Iberia Parish government and the citizens of Iberia Parish from 2016 through 2023.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Mr. Landry.
And believe it or not, Warren signed it. Oh, man.
Mr. Landry, I got a couple of comments for you from Mr. Napier, starting with Mr. Napier.
Paul, you know I couldn't let you go without having a few words to say.
You always have a few words.
You know that. But look, from the heart, brother, when I first started thinking about running, and I decided I'd better come to some meetings, because I didn't know what the hell parish government was about. I just knew I wanted to serve. And you took me under your wing. You did. And I'll never forget that. We sat there meeting after meeting after meeting, and you explained a lot of things to me before the election, before either one of us got elected. And after we got elected, you know, look, we have disagreed a lot lately, but I'll never forget that you believed in me and helped me in the beginning, in the first several years. And I know the one thing that you wanted that we just couldn't do is to reduce the size of the council. And I'll never forget that. And it may come up again, you never know. But, you know, I wish the people would have got their opportunity to vote on that, which they didn't. But, Paul, thank you for all you did for District 7, for all you did for the parish. You didn't just represent District 7. You represented the whole parish. We need more people like you, Paul. Thank you so much. Mary, thank you for letting him spend so much time here at the courthouse. He's a fixture here. We're going to miss you, Paul. Thank you so much for all you did for me personally. Thank you.
Councilman Rawson.
Mr. Landry, a lot of y'all don't know. When I walked in here, I didn't know most of y'all, to be honest. But I did know Paul. Paul and me, we go way back as far as the park and rec stuff goes. So when he's just talking about what he did in here so far the last 8 years, but Paul did a lot more than 10 years before he got in this job. And he was tied to the Pepperplex, I was tied to Laurelville. So don't lose that passion. That's all I ask. You know,
Yeah.
Stick with that, the youth, because we don't have the youth in this parish. We don't have a parish 20 years from now. They're not only gonna bail, but we're part of the succession development. You know, when we talk about youth programs, whatever one, pick one: horses, baseball, softball, whatever. But I really appreciate it. You know, not only Paul, but everybody that does something like that. And it's not easy dealing with parents in the youth recreation departments either. And that's another one where funding comes into problem. So, but thank you, Paul, for everything you did.
No, we appreciate it.
And in this room. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Councilman Landry?
My
Is there a time limit on this?
Yeah.
Is my 3 minutes up?
My brother
Not
from
yet.
another mother. When I first came on here, they had 2 other landers, 3 of us, 3 brothers. Y'all leaving me by myself. So, thank you, because you were another mentor. You, Eugene, Lloyd Brown, Tommy Landry, y'all, Larry, y'all all mentored me when I came in. And you've helped me a lot. We agree, we disagree. I think we agree on more of the things than we disagree. But you work tirelessly for the businesses, bringing businesses into this community and working to bring some more. So thank you.
You're welcome, Mike.
All right.
Councilman Sonia?
Yeah, so as
Be nice.
As much of a gentleman as Eugene is, I think if y'all ever needed to get in an argument with somebody, you probably want Eugene on the front end and Paul and I on the back. Because as much as I like attention to detail, which I know you're gifted at, because I learned about you when we did the budget, your tenacity is something that I will always appreciate. I think that I got like wanting to know about Paul when we were sitting in your office one day at your business, and I found out that you knew my mom and dad. I grew up in a small business. Paul did too. Our parents did business together. So there's a connection that we have to people that sometimes we don't even know. But I got to know you a little better at that point. I can say if I ever needed to fight somebody, it would not be that guy right there that I want to do it with, but I appreciate the fact that you're passionate about what you do. And again, some of our interactions were fun, Paul. I can tell you that right now. But I wish you and your family the best of luck. Is that your daughter that's going to school in New Orleans?
Yeah, do y'all want them to stand up?
Yeah,
Yeah,
please.
if you don't mind.
Let's recognize.
Yeah.
Come on, Miss Mary. Stand up, Miss Mary.
Mama. And if we could zoom in with the camera.
Thank y'all for sharing them with us.
Absolutely.
I'll come get a beer.
I'm gonna have to treat them to dinner now.
Anyone else for Mr. Landry?
I would.
Mr. Short.
Paul, you mentioned a lot of the good things that we have done in the parish, and I appreciate it because so much that was done is because of your help and the leadership that you have. And the style that you have. I'm going to miss that because there were certain things that when I wanted to get something done, I know this council, believe it or not, I know y'all pretty good. I actually have some celebrity names for each one of y'all. I got Colombo right there.
Colombo.
You know, so Paul, I'm really going to miss you a lot. For some reason, I don't feel like you're going that far. Because I know I have your number and I can call you and I know when I'm going to need some help, you're going to be there to help. And one thing you mentioned, you talked about when we got here, the access that people used to have to the courthouse where they can do this and do that. And of course, we don't have that issue anymore because we have cameras all over this parish. So anyone walking around this particular courthouse, what he mentioned earlier, used to work that way. But nowadays, when you're anywhere around this parish, from the graveyard to Iberia Street to Young Candy Camera, we have around 100 cameras over here. And I'm saying that for a reason, because people have a tendency to listen to tapes in these meetings, and they hear things. I want to just make sure people realize we are totally secured over here. So don't come here playing, because we took big time care of that. Scott, do you remember when we started talking about a budget, you and Kim and myself for security? Yeah. Well, we got big security, and I appreciate that.
Digital, that's the little conversation.
Exactly, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate this council. Now, we're talking about the 3 councilmen here, but we're getting ready to adjourn this meeting. So I want every councilman here to know that I appreciate working with each and every one of you, and I look forward to working with y'all in the future. And the 2 new councilmen here, and Dustin that just left from here. We have a great thing going, not a good thing. We have a great thing going, and we look to make it even better. You know, so let's keep the momentum going, and let's try to make 24 a little bit better than 23. 23 was better than 22, and it's been better ever since we got here. So let's just keep it keep it going. If we can get this money, this tax pass next year for this dedicated road fund, you're gonna see some serious excitement in Iberia Parish. Again, thank you for everything that you've done.
We enjoyed it.
Mr. Landry, there's no other ones, but I'd like to close with you, Paul.
You remember where I met you, Warren?
I don't, but you can.
Hopkins Street?
Oh, okay. I remember now. Yeah, I do. Mr. Landry, I want to tell you this.
No joke, huh?
No big deal.
It was
I was raised on Hopkins.
It was at Tesh Lumber. I'm ordering my nails, and Warren comes walking in, and I looked at him. I said, "Oh, you look like you're running for parish council." Yeah, I am, District 5. Okay, I'm 7.
I want to tell you, Paul, you have the biggest heart in this room, and it shows. You serve with a passion to love Iberia Parish, and I don't think anybody can come close to it. There were times where we agreed, disagreed, but I can tell you at the end of the day, you were never scared to take on an issue, whether it was big, small, or way out of our league. We fought on the same side, we fought against each other, but I always had respect for you. There was never a doubt about that. Did I have respect for you? I know there's tensions between us on certain votes that we took, whether it was from the budget or policy. But at the end of the day, we still made those phone calls.
Oh, yeah.
And you could tell the shortness sometimes when you were mad and the long talks when we were good. But I can tell you that there will never be another Paul Landry with a big heart that's going to come through this chamber and serve the way you have. And that I'll always remember you by, you serving with the compassion for everybody, not just District 7. So thank you, Miss Mary and Paul's daughter and the rest of the kids. I know there was a lot of times you spent here that you could have spent at home, and thank you, Paul.
And you know, I appreciate all, and I respect everything the parish has and everything, but like I told you earlier, I'm going to go ahead and take my name tag home tonight.
Let's make sure we have to put it for surplus property first. Nobody bids on it. It's yours, Mr. Landry. All right, members. We appreciate you, Mr. Landry. Hearing no other business for the main motions, I'll need a motion to, I'm sorry, Ms. Carey, did you want to?
I would like to call Mr. Scott Rossene to come up.
Okay.
To receive his certificate.
I'm sorry.
For 2023 Vice Chairman of Iberia Parish Council on behalf of our Parish of Iberia, in appreciation of your service for the citizens of Iberia Parish, Louisiana, as Vice Chairman of Iberia Parish Council.
Congratulations, Mr. Scott. Awesome job. Hearing no other parish business.
Wait.
We got another one?
We sure do. I would like to call our chairman, Warren P. Gotchison
I was ready to adjourn.
to come up and receive his certificate for 2023 Chairman of Iberia Parish Council.
Read that again. What did you say?
On behalf of the Parish of Iberia, I present this certificate to you as your 2023 Chairman of Iberia Parish Council in appreciation of your service to the citizens of Iberia Parish, Louisiana, as Chairman of the Iberia Parish Council.
Thank you so much. Is there a reason why Paul found this one? Just joking. All right, members, here no other parish business. I need a motion to adjourn. Who do we have that, Bob?
Mr. Lloyd Brown and Mr. Michael Landry.
Motion by Mr. Brown, second by Mr. Landry. Voting machines on adjournment, members. That motion carried. We're now adjourned.